has, from what people can describe, a 9 to even 10-point lead in this race. Why? Because of the grassroots efforts of his campaign and the ability to reach the independents, the moderate Democrats, have been really key to bringing people over to his camp and being successful in that vote. And of course, a lot of things on the table right now is school and education. That's a major topic here that they were discussing. Plus the economy, the economics of what's going on in this country, another big driving indicator. I know that Youngkin has on his website plans from day one and what he would do if he was become governor of this state, and one of them was to eliminate a lot of the state taxes and make it more affordable to live here in the state of Virginia, doing away with the gas tax, doing away with the grocery tax, and in terms of infrastructure, really investing in what the needs of the state, or what they need at this point, and also cutting a lot of the fat, cutting the trimmings a lot of the fat that's in this state, in the budget, a lot of the surplus that just goes to waste, and just getting rid of the bureaucracy of the government here and in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So really to clean things up. He is a businessman. He is an outsider. He is someone very much like you saw with Donald Trump. When President Trump got into the race, he was an outsider. He was a business leader, and he applied that skill set into politics, and I think that's what made him so successful. Well, you fast forward, we've seen other people do that as well. Glenn Youngkin comes from that same cut of cloth, being an outsider, spent a lot of time in the church, accomplished businessman, and he just wants to make a difference in our world and really kind of clean up politics. And of course, Terry McAuliffe is trying to get back in office. Years ago, he was a governor of the state. A lot of people said just months ago that he had this thing locked up. But the ground support that came from the teachers and the parents, which we'll hear on the stage behind me here shortly, have all changed that. So we got that coming up as well. We got all kinds of, we're going to try to talk to some of these people that are out here. The gates just opened up. So let me step aside real quick and I'll show you. Back off to the left gate, just see if we can show these cars coming in. This is the Loudoun County Fairgrounds. Now this is just a beautiful part of Virginia. I've yet to really explore this section of the country, and it's absolutely gorgeous. But there is a single, just a small single road that comes into this fairground. So these cars, I can assure you, are backed up quite a bit to get in here. So we've already seen a sizable crowd here already. Once you get everybody parked and unloaded and come in here, this place will fill up. This has the similar setup of a Trump rally. It's got the bleachers. It's got the 3 sets of bleachers. It's got the guardrail. It's got the overflow. It's got the media setup here. This is done, I would probably say first class as far as a rally goes. And so tonight we're going to see really his Youngkin's plans of what he would lay out if he was to become governor. Now, programming note, we will be live tomorrow from his headquarters in Northern Virginia, and to bring you as everything develops tomorrow night in terms of the election. Now, if you're wondering if we're going to get mail-in ballots counted 3 or 4 days after Election Day, that's not going to happen here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. From what I understand, they've got some of the best voting procedures of all states in this country. Of course, voter ID, and of course, they don't mass mail-in ballots to everyone. You have to request it like a lot of states do. So I don't think you're going to see all of that play tomorrow night. This is going to be more of a straightforward count the votes. We got them in house. We have a clear winner. We have a clear loser. Hopefully that's exactly what we experienced tomorrow. Let's do just a little bit of housekeeping stuff. We're going to have some fun stuff. But first, let's thank our partner of the day, Mike Lindell over at MyPillow. Now, earlier, we were in front of the Supreme Court, and we'll get into that here in just a second and kind of recap all of that. Now, he was a big pro-life supporter. He is also a big conservative reporter, and of course, during the election, he fought for election integrity. He really put himself out there. And so I think it's our duty as Americans to, if he fought for us, let's fight for him. Go to the website, MyPillow.com. That's MyPillow.com, MyStore.com as well. Got thousands of products on that website as well. But put in the promo code RSBN at checkout, and you'll get up to 66% off your entire order. But I think it's time for us to, you've got a few minutes here before everything kicks off. Go pop on that website. Go fill up that shopping cart full of stuff. put that promo code in there at RSBN at checkout, and you'll get up to 66% off. And some of those proceeds goes back to help us at this network to do what we're doing right now. So go take advantage of the fact that we got a little bit of time here. Also, get ahead of that shipping. And, of course, we've seen the supply chain issues across the country. We've seen what it takes to get product in store. And we might, some of these products you may not ever see. But I was just at the MyPillow factory a few days ago, and I'm going to share you, they are making thousands and thousands of products right there for you. We saw firsthand how they make those pillows. Unbelievable. We saw firsthand how they make the travel pillows. Unbelievable. We saw the slippers. We saw the Giza sheets. We saw the towels. We saw the mattresses, toppers. We saw all that stuff. So take advantage right now, the fact that you can get ahead. You can make a statement with your dollar and go invest in an American-based company like Mike Lindell over at MyPillow. MyPillow.com, MyPillow.com, promo code RSBN at checkout, and you get up to 66% off. Okay, earlier today we were at the Supreme Court there. Ken Paxton, Attorney General of Texas, along with some other people from the state of Texas, was engaged in a conversation and was able to listen in, I guess you could say, in arguments on the Texas Heartbeat Act, which is essentially banning abortion after 6 weeks. Now, there's a similar case in Mississippi as well, going to 15-week ban of abortion. I think that's set to hear on December 1st. But basically, the arguments, the discussion was laid out there at the Supreme Court. Now, originally, they thought this was only going to last about 45 minutes to an hour. That went about 2 hours and 38 minutes inside the Supreme Court. So very heated discussion, and we heard a lot of that here on the air. They really got in the weeds on this law. And so where does it go from there? We're not sure, but we're going to stay tuned on that. And of course, this all is to further the pro-life agenda and perhaps reverse the Roe versus Wade, which really protects the life of the unborn. And I think it's very important, if you're a person of faith, that you really stand behind this pro-life effort, as we are just trying to do our best to protect the life of the unborn. Okay, if you remember, a few days ago, we were at the factory there at MyPillow up in Minnesota, and we did a kind of a virtual, give you a nice little tour of what was going on there. And we had some questions, and we had basically we asked, call for action of people to go on, like and share and comment on this broadcast to win some fabulous prizes that Mike has been so generous to give us. I'm going to get my glasses out here, and I've got some winners. So if you were involved in that and you were a part of sharing that broadcast and liking and commenting on, then possibly you might be a winner. So we'll start with the winner of the towels and sheets, those Giza sheets and those great absorbent towels. We've got two winners here. We'll start with Amanda Aldridge and Christine Ward. Christine Ward, congratulations. You have won those sheets and those towels courtesy of Mike Lindell over at MyPillow. So our grand prize here, we're giving away 2 beds, 2 of the very comfortable memory pillow beds. Unbelievable. Will get delivered to you in a box, oddly enough. It's very easy, very convenient to get to. So here we go. We got 2 winners for that. Are you ready? Nanette Laundry, you have won a MyPillow bed. Nanette Laundry, and also Jarrett Ventura, you have won as well. And if you would please email us at feedback@rsbn.tv, feedback@rsbn.tv to claim your prize. Once again, on the sheets and the towels, we have Amanda Aldridge and Christine Ward. You have won, Amanda Aldridge and Christine Ward, and the winner of the 2 beds is Nanette Laundry and Jarrett Ventura. Feedback@rsbn.tv, feedback@rsbn.tv to claim your prize for that. Thank you so much for everyone who was involved in that giveaway and really watching all of that coverage as if walking around the MyPillow factory, kind of giving you a nice bird's eye view of how they make the world's most comfortable pillow. So go check it out at mypillow.com and put yourself on the list. All right, so last couple of minutes since we saw the crowd come in, starting to fill up a little more. I like that. It's kind of a chilly evening up here in Northern Virginia, to be honest with you. Temperature said 51. I want to say it feels more like 41 right now. Gage and I are a little cold, but nevertheless, we're here, and we're glad that you're here with us as well. I've seen a couple familiar faces in the crowd already. I want to be able to, at one point, get with some of these people and find out exactly what has brought them here. Why are they involved so much in this race, and why do they think that Glenn Youngkin is the candidate and the governor for them? We've got law enforcement out supporting this candidate. I was watching some local news earlier, and it seems like the political ads right now it seems like every other commercial break has one or two in each break. So this is a heated battle. And of course, 4 months ago, Glenn Youngkin was a distant candidate in this race, and then slowly pulled up, and then now to certain polls have him a 9 to 10 point lead on McAuliffe. The messaging has been pretty simple. I'm here for your parents. I'm here for the rights of our kids and the rights for our parents. I'm here for pro-business. I'm here to making common sense approach to economics here in the state of Virginia. So it's a lot of common sense type narratives here, which I think that's what really gravitates towards the average person. If you keep in mind, if you're watching us right now, think about the world that you live in, how many people around you that are involved in politics, and really stay up to speed what's going on, not only in their state, but in the country. And you know what? Sometimes that number is a lot lower than what you would think. But it's the common sense approach to the Youngkin campaign. I think it's really helped him out to reach people that normally would not have got involved in politics. Now, I've talked to several reporters from some different outlets over the last day or so, and they've told me that they have followed both campaigns around the last several months at all of the different rallies, and have noticed a considerable larger turnout for Youngkin than Terry McAuliffe, to the point where it's not even on a comparable scale, the amount of people that shows up. And it does remind me a little bit about how during the presidential campaign, of course, we handled all the Trump rallies, just how many people we saw at the Trump rallies compared to how many people we saw at a Biden rally. We'd have 50, 30, 20,000 people at a Trump rally, depending on the city you were going to, and the setup, massive turnouts. Well, then you go to look at the Biden campaign, and it'd be 3 people standing in a hula hoop. Big difference there. You're kind of seeing that here with this race. Now, what that means, how does that translate in the real world on voting turnout? Well, that's yet to be seen, and that's what's important. If the voter turnout is comparable to what we see on the rallies, then I think Youngkin has a tremendous shot of winning this election tomorrow. If people stay home, if people decide that they don't need to show up, or for whatever reason they stay home, that's going to make the difference. So the call for independents to show up, the call for moderate Democrats to show up, and the call for conservatives to show up. If they show up tomorrow in the numbers that they are expected in the turnouts, Glenn Youngkin will be your governor tomorrow. But it all has to unfold. I did make one observation that I heard on both sides, is that there wasn't a lot of young people going to these rallies. Let's see if we can see a shot. We've got some younger people down here in front behind the podium. I noticed coming in here, these probably look like high school students, maybe some college students actually as well. But that is one thing that I've heard, that this campaign, both campaigns, haven't been drawing huge crowds of younger attendees. Now, obviously, you got to be old enough to vote, but still, just the turnout in general. And I thought that was very interesting, how most of the people turning out for both campaigns have been kind of an older demo. And of course, a lot of the topics on the table really apply to an older demo. It applies to people who are paying taxes, who have a job, who have a family, who are concerned with national security, the topics that you and I might gravitate towards more than other topics or other demos. So that's what's resonating with this crowd. and we're going to see. You see parents for Youngkin. Of course, tonight, the majority of the messaging here will be about the parents, about them standing up and fighting for the rights of their kids in schools. That's going to be one of the biggest topics, I think, discussed here tonight. And also just his business plan of laying out, a plan for growth and for jobs and for cutting the red tape, so to say, and as far as business goes. One of the top things I did see that really resonated with me, and I would imagine wherever you're at, it probably resonates with you as well, is the fact that he would eliminate the grocery tax, which I thought was interesting, and the gasoline tax as much as possible. Now, obviously, you need revenue for the gasoline tax for roads and things like that, and that's usually what those taxes are used for. But, certain states like Virginia and like California and New York, some of the taxation has been completely out of control lately. So you're going to see perhaps a reduction in tax, and that is also, as far as the citizens goes of Virginia, a good thing to lower your taxes and be involved with that. If you're just now joining us, welcome. We are live here in Loudoun County, Virginia, just outside Leesburg, I believe. We're at the county fairgrounds here, awaiting the arrival of Glenn Youngkin. I was told that he was, because of his travel schedule today, he might be a few minutes late coming on stage, but before him, we have a lot of other events planned for you here today. Get a good size look at the crowd here. We've got like I said, they just opened the gates a few minutes ago, so people are starting to come in here and fill up this space, which is a pretty large space to begin with. When we first got here, we thought, wow, we've been to a couple of these already. We know that people are showing up for these events, but had no idea at this point it's big. But hey, this is the last one. And a programming note, we will be live tomorrow at the Glenn Youngkin campaign headquarters there in Northern Virginia to show you what's going on there, and hopefully we can have a great turnout. I'm gonna see if I can talk to this gentleman right here. Hey, we're live on Right Side Broadcasting Network. Just wanted to get your thoughts on being here today, and why should the next governor be Glenn Youngkin?
You go ahead and answer.
So I am not a registered Republican, and it's been...
I was talking about the moderate Democrats and the independents are key in this race.
Yeah, so I'm a libertarian, and it's been about 15 years since I was excited about a candidate that I felt like really had a chance to win. But I think there's just such a dramatic disconnect between what McAuliffe and the Democratic Party wants right now and what the American voter wants right now. And I feel like Youngkin represents really what the vast swath of Americans truly are moderates.
It's incredible because we've been talking about what's key in this race is not really getting the conservatives to show up, but getting moderate Democrats, independents, libertarians that look at this and go, wait a minute, I'm not sure I like what's been going on the last few months in our country. Maybe it is time for a change.
Yeah, exactly. So we are parents. We actually have 9 children, 7 of whom are still in school. And six.
God bless you guys. I got 3 and I don't know how I do it.
It's a little crazy at times. And yeah, I mean, I think COVID kind of exacerbated a lot of issues that were already going on. And in particular for us, they exposed some things that we had really been blind to. And I think that we just kind of woke up. And I think really it's parents. Let's be honest. It's obviously the key issue right now. But it woke us up to a bit of a scraping the barrel with public education. So we've pulled as many of our children as we can right now. We have a few still on the wait list.
Let me ask you a question. How many people that you know are just like you, independents, libertarians, moderate Democrats, that feel the same way you do?
I would say the majority of the people that we know tend maybe toward the conservative, but those who are in the independent or the ones who are actually Democrats, I think are all feeling extremely isolated by the extreme progressives and the socialists, and that agenda that's being pushed just does not reflect what they believe.
Yeah, I don't know many people who aren't conservative, but I'll tell you, we've been going to the Loudoun County School Board meetings for about 1.5 years now, and you hear a lot of that. You hear a lot of people there saying, hey, I'm not Republican, I'm not conservative, but we can't stand by and do nothing anymore.
That's incredible that you say that, because I said that's at the top of the broadcast that if it wasn't for Loudoun County school boards, a lot of school board meetings across the country, you've really inspired a nation of parents that is say, wait a minute, I'm fed up with it too. I'm going to go down to my school board, peacefully go down to my school board and make my voices heard. So you guys have been a major inspiration to the country. I'm just going to let you know that right now, because for a parent of 3, my own immediate world, I started thinking, well, what is my school board doing? Let me look up to see my next school board meeting, because I think it's important to get involved.
Yeah, it started off with, hey, why aren't our kids in school? When the numbers started.
That the number one issue at that point was, why aren't our kids in school? So for people that live outside the state of Virginia, explain to us how long you guys were out of school.
Oh, a year and a half, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think they were home basically from March through the end of the year. And then I think over the course of the summer, our heads were still in the sand, and we kind of assumed they would be going back. And then towards the end of the summer, when we heard that they weren't going back, that's when we really stopped and said, what is going on? That, by that point, the numbers were way down, and it was very obvious that children were not getting sick and dying in wide swaths.
And then from there, we realized that our kids were being taught by YouTube videos, because we could see, and then it's just one thing after another, CRT and
So you got the kids back in school. Then it became, okay, what's this critical race theory that everyone's talking about here? And that's, of course, was another hot topic across the country.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, especially my thing with it is, hey, teach history, teach everything about it, but don't tell my kids who are white kids that they are bad. That's it. And I spoke about that at a school board meeting. And that was,
I'm with you, and a lot of people agree with you right now. Okay, so tomorrow, in election night, how confident do you feel? I mean, we were just at a rowdy in Danville, Virginia, right? At that point, it was a dead heat. Fast forward about a week and a half. Now he's up by 9-10. How confident are you tomorrow that it will be a victory?
I'm not a betting person, but I would say, like I said before, this is the first time I've been excited in a very long time. And I think, Glenn Youngkin represents America.
Well, thank you so much for coming, and God bless you. How many kids again? 7? 9. The most kids here, probably 9 kids. I love it. But anyway, thank you so much. But that was one of the concerns they have, is about parents and rights and getting these kids back in school. And you talk about a school board meeting, it all started right here, folks. You might see these school board meetings across the country in various cities, but really it started and it was inspired right here in Loudoun County. This is what inspired people to get involved in the school board meetings and peacefully let their voices be heard in what's being taught in our schools. And it all starts with getting the kids back in school. We saw that. People keep, teachers, parents were wondering, when are we going to get our kids back in school? We can't stay home and be taught by YouTube videos. It's not the same. We were behind the 8 ball in education to begin with, and now you insert a YouTube video in the Zoom classes. Just a bad idea altogether. Talk to you a little bit.
I'm a candidate for Maryland State Delegate. And I'm here supporting Glenn. My name's Justin Wages. I'm running for Maryland State Delegate in District 3A, which is Frederick County, Maryland. And I'm out here with some friends and family. Rising tide lifts.
What is it about him that you like the most?
Well, honestly, just his ability to stand up to the Democratic establishment. This is a state that Joe Biden's won by 10 points just a few short months ago. And, obviously the polling now has Glenn in the lead, so he must be doing something right.
It almost seems like, and we said this earlier, that this is the first really big election, that will get the pulse of what America feels like right now under a Biden administration. So if he's able to win tomorrow night, boy, that sets the precedent for 2022 midterms.
For sure, and definitely with that being my time when I'm up for my election, it's going to be interesting to see. A win here by Glenn, like you said, can really set the stage for Republican candidates all across the country. In my own state of Maryland, Joe Biden won by 33 percentage points. Net favorability is now 10 in the state of Maryland. 53 approval, 43.
That's just not by, and that's across the board. That's Democrats, Independents, and Libertarians, and Republicans as well. That's just not, Republicans saying he's boo. That's everybody saying.
And the fun thing, you look at those polls, you got to look in depth. The poll that just came out today, the Trafalgar poll, has Youngkin ahead by 2.5 points, but it's 38% Republican polling. So you start to look into those things and you see how good of a glimpse you can get for the Republican Party in 2022.
Go. Okay, so how can people get more information? Justin Wages. By the way, you've got a great name for a political candidate, Justin Wages. How can people get more information about you?
You can check me out on Facebook, just Justin Wages, JustinWages. My website is wagesfordelegate.com, and you spell out for FOR, wagesfordelegate.com. And yeah, just give me a look. I'm out here supporting Glenn, and we're looking for a red wave in 2022.
Amen to that. Appreciate it, Justin. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time today. And that just kind of gives you a little more of a perspective. That's a cute sign right there. Let's see if we can get in on that sign. Let me step aside here. See if I can, Tom? See if I can talk to Mom over here. Hang on just 1 second, sir. Come on. We're live on the air, Right Side Broadcasting Network. I saw your nice sign. You can hold it up for us. So what is it about Glenn Youngkin that you like so much that you're going to come here on a Monday night, a chilly Monday night in Northern Virginia?
You know what? We just want to support him. This is kind of an exciting campaign. We think it's really crucial for the state of Virginia. And truly, I think when you start talking kids, that's where you're going to get passion, and that's why you're going to get parents out here. I
was saying earlier that this county is really ground zero for parents. I mean, you inspired millions of parents across this country, and that's important.
We're excited. We're glad to be that kind of inspiration for people, and we really hope that this is just I guess a topic that people really will get out and vote on.
Now, we've said this before. I know he's up in the polls right now, pretty big time actually. How many people in your immediate circle feel the same way you do, or people that were independent that feel the same way you do?
I think people in my immediate circle are really passionate. I have family members that have been out campaigning for Youngkin from the beginning. But I would say independent voters, I think this particular issue that has gotten people riled up, they're leaning toward Youngkin.
Absolutely. And of course, yeah, so what grade are you in?
What grade are you in?
First grade.
First grade. What a great year, first grade. I love it. Back in school, which I would imagine she's back in school, right?
She is. Yeah. She is.
Yeah. No mask. Where's some mandates here?
There is mask mandates in the state of Virginia, but she's some schools give opt-out options or liability options where they can sign you out. But yeah.
But you're just glad she's back in school,
just glad
and not away from the Zoom and the YouTube teaching and
loving it. Yes, she's back in.
So at least you have a good excuse to be late at school tomorrow. You're at a Glenn Youngkin rally, so you're okay.
You're giving her that excuse, yeah.
You're giving an excuse to be a little late tomorrow.
Yep. What do you think?
Of course, she's shocked. Thank you. God bless. Thank you for coming out here and sharing your thoughts on that. As we back aside, look at the crowd. I mean, it just keeps coming in. And as you would expect on a Monday night here in Virginia, the day before the election. And so what a great turnout this is. It's organized. It's easy to get in. It's beautiful right now. Yes, it's a little cold for me, but hey, you know what? We've got a bunch of patriot-loving parents here, and that's what it's all about tonight as we get ready for tomorrow's election. And we will have coverage for that election all day tomorrow. Keep you up to date on all of that. And also, programming note, on November 3rd, we'll be out in Glendale, Arizona, out in the Phoenix area for a Kari Lake for Governor event there about election integrity. Wendy Rogers is scheduled to speak. So what a great night there in the desert. And as Kari Lake has said, you know, it might be the desert there in Arizona, but there is definitely a swamp, and she is all about draining the swamp. So if you're a big fan of Kari Lake and what she's doing in Arizona, and what all of the Patriots are doing in Arizona, you can join us on the 3rd. We'll be live out there as well as we really make our way across this country. And that brings up my next topic of we are partly viewer funded, so your donations go a long way for this network. So I just want to encourage everybody to, if you have it in your heart today, to donate to our organization, donate to our news outlet. Please do that. Go to rsbnetwork.com, rsbnetwork.com/donate. And if you feel led to drop a little something in the tip jar there, it goes a long way and helps us to continue to help show what you're seeing here today. So go to rsbnetwork.com/donate. and donate what you can. A little bit goes a whole long way. And I just love the enthusiasm as you're seeing right now. Students for Glenn Youngkin, parents for Glenn Youngkin, law enforcement for Glenn Youngkin. It seems like just about everybody has a sign here to cheer him on. And so, and let's just talk media here for a second. Like the Supreme Court issue earlier today, a full house on media was there for that. That is the same situation here. Every major network is here. A lot of your bigger state media from your cities are here, from the D.C. area, from the Virginia Beach area, from the Roanoke area. They're here covering this as well. Now, I know that Glenn Youngkin has been around the state of Virginia all day today, flying to various cities. So that was something that, has been a very busy schedule, hence the fact that he will be a few minutes late tonight getting on the stage. But this is a movement that started very organically as a political outsider, and then just kind of gained the traction from the parents and of course people who said they had enough of the system. They had enough of the way this country was run, and they didn't like the way their state was being run. So they did something about it. And I said this just briefly the other day, that if you don't like what's going on in the world around you, then by all means, do something about it. Step up and serve. And, and Glenn Youngkin was involved in his church, a very successful businessman, a family man, and he decided, you know what, I had enough of seeing what was going on. I think I can make a difference. And there you fast forward, now he's on the stage the night before he could be potentially elected the next governor of Virginia. And I'm just eyeing the amount of cars coming in here. They opened up the gates at 8 o'clock. Now, this is scheduled to start at 8:30, but I'm just imagining, just by the amount of cars still coming in here and people parking and coming up, that this might be pushed back slightly. We were told that Glenn Youngkin would not take the stage originally scheduled time due to a lot of just, travel time across the state. So it might be a hot minute or so before they kick the early speakers off here. But we're glad you're joining us, and we want to encourage everybody to share this broadcast, comment on it. And I think this particular subject right now is very important, that if you have any opinion on the way your school board's being run in your hometown, your school district, comment down below in the section, your school district, and maybe just a quick thought of what's going on, or maybe what is concerning to you as a parent. What are you concerned about as a parent? So type that in there. If you're watching us on YouTube, type that in there. On Facebook, type that in there, and let us know what county that you live in and what's concerning to you. Is it the schools opening? Is it the CRT? Is it the fact that they're trying to segregate in these school systems, perhaps those that have masks and those that don't have masks, and God forbid they do that with the vaccine. But let us know your thoughts on your school board, and who knows, perhaps your school board might be the next Loudoun County School Board that sets the world on fire. And I just really love the courageous parents that have come out over the last year or so and just have made their opinions vocal and have made their voices heard on what was concerning to them. And of course, then you have the Biden administration coming across and saying that letting the FBI know that these parents, these school board member attendees, these parents could be basically domestic terrorists, and label them as a threat to security, which is absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. And a lot of you saw that Merrick Garland just a few days ago just got grilled in Capitol Hill for kind of supporting that narrative of school board parents being labeled as some type of domestic terrorist. So they're just concerned parents that want the best for their kids, just like I do, just like you do if you have kids. That's all we really want when it comes down. Okay, earlier we announced some names of winners of our giveaway, and I want to make sure I give our viewers one more time to get those names out. The winner of the sheets and the towels, we have two winners here, Amanda Aldridge and Christine Ward. Christine Ward and Amanda Aldridge, guess what? You guys have won the sheets and the towels, which is a phenomenal gift, and that the guys over at MyPillow have been so gracious to give us. But get this, folks, two people are about to win a bed each. Are you ready for this? We said these names earlier. Let's say it again. Nanette Wandry, and Jarrett Ventura. Jarrett Ventura and Nanette Wandry. You guys have each won a MyPillow bed, and you can claim your prize as easy as just going to send us an email at feedback@rsbn.tv to claim your prize. Email feedback@rsbn.tv to claim your prize. So shoot us an email on that. Let us know, hey, that was me, I won. And they'll set you up all the information to have that thing delivered to your house. And what a phenomenal prize that. And I want to also encourage everybody right now to go to mypillow.com and put that promo code RSBN. And then what a great time to buy some gifts. Now that it's getting cooler, I had a chance to fill those flannel sheets. My goodness, if you're living anywhere in the part of the country where it's getting cold right now, go get you those flannel sheets. I can promise you, you're going to sleep really good at night and stay warm. So go check out those flannel sheets. Go check out those Giza sheets. Go check out the towels, the slippers that are unbelievably warm and comfortable. Go check all that stuff out right now. Don't forget to put that promo code RSBN at checkout, and you'll get up to 66% off. And he has just been a phenomenal patriot, Mike Lindell. We're so proud of him at this network, and you should too, for what he's really done with election integrity, and he's put himself out there. So let's go out there and support him over at mypillow.com, and mystore.com. I say this all the time. Mystore.com has thousands of products on there, and if you don't have a flag in your front yard, if you don't have a flag at your business, they've got a ton of flags on there. They got a ton of patriotic stuff on there, so just go check it out at mystore.com as well and pick you up a flag, put it up in your yard, and say, I love this country and I love everything about it. So make your voices be heard on that. I want to see if I can talk to a few more people, actually. I'm going to see if I can walk over here. You guys mind sharing some comments on tonight? We're live on the air. We're just talking about supporters out here. Glenn Youngkin, I mean, why you like him, why you're here. I mean, everyone seems to like the fact that, I don't know if you guys, I'm a parent. I don't know if you're a parent or not. Not parents yet, but that was one of the biggest concerns. Maybe fiscal responsibility.
The pro-life issue is a really big one.
We were just at the Supreme Court today for the heartbeat bill from Texas. They're very interesting. We were there doing a live coverage. I'm so glad you said that, because we've always said there's been a couple issues that Americans are concerned with. Number one's the economy. Hyperinflation's coming up. Gasoline, everything else is crazy. Immigration, the border, things like that. But then the abortion issue, the right to life, the pro-life is a big issue, and so that was what gravitated with you.
Yes, and the immigration too. You know, that people should come here legally, and I wish they would
concept.
finish the wall.
Well, it's okay to finish the wall, and actually, I just saw. I'm going to switch sides over here. It makes it a little bit easier. Now I can see you. With finishing the wall, Texas had a novel concept. We'll finish the damn wall, is what they said. And we're not going to wait for somebody. But immigration is a hot topic, especially along the southern border of the U.S., a lot of states. But, you know, a failed immigration policy actually affects people like you that live up in these northern states.
It does, fundamentally. I mean, for me, I'm a fiscal conservative. I've always been one, and I think anyone that stands behind those kind of values, I'm always going to support, you know?
We've been saying this, that the key, I think, to a victory tomorrow is to get to the independents, the moderate Democrats and libertarians, and tell them, hey, this is the guy for you. So don't just vote down party lines. Vote for the guy that makes logical sense. Would you got a little "Let's Go Brandon" chant?
Yeah, I'm not sure people vote anymore based on policy. I think they just vote on party lines, as you say. And if you step back and you decompose each candidate, you should vote on what your heart tells you, not what other people tell you to vote on.
Now, in your immediate circle, is there a lot of people that feel like you do, or?
No, I'm surrounded by liberals.
That's incredible. That even
I live in McLean, Virginia, so
say no more, right? But isn't that incredible that they can look around and they're still good with what's going on? They're not thinking to get out of their lane and maybe go into a different lane that can get a path to success.
yeah. Well, I think it has a lot to do with critical mass. You tend to vector towards people that you hang out with, and so if you get one opinion all the time, that's what you're going to believe in. And I think the moderate Democrat, like my parents were, so I'm obviously not exactly aligned with their politics, but they were more reasonable and more thoughtful in what they did. And I think that blend is what we're needing to get back again, you know? And I've got friends, and we've got friends that are really, really socially liberal, And it's difficult because they're surrounded by social liberals in the media they read. And so it's tough because they don't have another perspective. And I don't think the new generation is very open to that other perspective and wants to talk about the other perspective. And, you know, I can have a good, healthy debate with my sister and my mom, but if I try to talk to some other folks, it turns heated and contentious and unpleasant.
Today, the pro-choice people were very loud, very angry, which is kind of represents how they talk about a lot of issues. That they're very angry and they shout at you, but yet on the pro-life side, it was a prayer vigil. It was a praise and worship music. We prayed for 70% of the time that we were there. There was a prayer going on. Very two different sides of it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the March for Life is the most peaceful protest in the nation.
Yeah, we lived in D.C. during the riots in the summertime, and we actually moved out of the district because of how bad it gotten. Not just because it was no longer about a cause, it was just mayhem, right? And then the other factor is I own a business in D.C., and it's sad because it's run by a very liberal mayor, as you well know, paints all sorts of stuff on the floor that's really provoking additional controversy. And the city itself, and I've been interviewed, is collapsing. In crime, business owners are turning against the mayor and the council.
Let me ask you a question. As we drove around a little bit in D.C., and we were here for about 3 or 4 months after the election, covering everything out of the White House, I've never seen so many for lease signs up in buildings and businesses. It seems like a lot of people have abandoned the inner city.
I think a lot of the residential folks are. I mean, the commercial's hard to say because of the COVID thing and everyone kind of relocated, but I think there was an exodus out of the city. We were part of it, and I think it's going to continue.
Let's go ahead and turn our attention to the podium for our opening prayer.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, I was asked to begin this night with prayer because we have a candidate who understands that our unalienable rights come not from government, but from God. That's right. And that candidate is hopefully the next governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Glenn Youngkin. So let's pray. Lord, we thank you for this evening. We commit this night to you. We commit this campaign to you. We commit our Commonwealth to you, and we thank you for your mercy and your grace and your favor. We pray for a good outcome tomorrow, Lord. We leave it in your hands. We know blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. So we exalt you and we thank you. We pray your blessing over Glenn and Suzanne and their family, and we thank you for this night that we can share together. And we glorify you in Jesus' name. And everybody said, amen.
Pledge of Allegiance, please welcome Prince William County Sheriff Glenn Hill.
Gentlemen, please remove your hats as we pledge allegiance to our great country. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Law enforcement, we are supporting Glenn Youngkin for our next governor.
And now for our national anthem, please welcome Heather Hopkins.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the as we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Fight for Our Schools Executive Director Ian Pryor.
Thank you very much. But I want you all to cheer for each other right now because you have inspired millions. Now look, the politics of this country have become so divisive over the past decade or so. The politics of division, where everybody gets put into a different box and then they use that to slice and dice and divide to win elections. And then they've added the thing where it's, if you don't agree with us and you have a different perspective, we're going to cancel you. So to fight back against that, you need three things. First, you need something that will unify people, something that transcends all divisions, whether it's political ideology, gender, race, ethnicity, religion. And that issue is our children. Next, you need moms and dads that have the courage to go out there and fight for their kids. And in Loudoun County, we have thousands of moms and dads that are fighting for their kids. And when we started this, I said that we were going to fight for our kids all day, every day. And I meant all day, every day. And these parents have put on a suit of armor and they have fought back. And they have taken slings and arrows from our elected officials, from the media, from intolerant neighbors, from the Attorney General of the United States. But we're still here. And we're not going anywhere. And then the third thing you need is a leader that can harness this movement. Someone that can give voice to parents and speak for them and stand up for them. And there are two people applying for this job of leader right now. In one corner, you've got Terry McAuliffe. Terry McAuliffe thinks you're all conspiracy theorists, that you're making it all up, and that he knows more about what's going on in your children's schools than he does. He gets it from Randy Weingarten and Joe Biden. They tell him what's going on, so I guess that's enough. And in the other corner, you have Glenn Youngkin. Glenn was extremely successful. He had no reason to run for governor other than to make the Commonwealth of Virginia the best place it can be. And he has been listening to parents for months and speaking on our behalf. And if he is governor, he is going to work for parents to have the best schools in the country. So the question here is, are you going to go with Terry McAuliffe, a political servant, or Glenn Youngkin, the public servant? Now, I've been, working and observing campaigns for 10 years now, and I've developed an instinctive feel to kind of know how things are going to go, and usually I can figure it out by the Friday before Tuesday. But if I tell you what happened, it won't happen. So instead, I'm going to tell you how to make it happen. We need to get out there and get every single vote. Get every person to the polls, hand out every sample ballot, and if you're collecting signatures for the school board recall, let's get every signature. And look, I've heard a lot about this McAuliffe machine, and I've been out at the polls, and I don't see a machine. I see people just like us. And they may be on the ropes right now, but they're still going to do their best. So it really comes down to one thing, and no, I'm not going to say turnout. It comes down to one thing: is who wants it more. So the question I have to ask you is, do they want it more, or do we want it more? When I look out here and I look across Virginia, I see heroes with thousands of faces standing up for their children. And tomorrow, we got to get it done. So when that alarm goes off, you need to rise, you need to suit up, and let's go get it!
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome former 10th District Congressional Representative, Congressman Frank Wolf.
Loudoun County? Fairfax County? Northern Virginia? We have a great candidate in Glenn Youngkin. Bobby Kennedy, brother of John F. Kennedy, President of the United States, once said, "Some men see things as they are and ask why. I dream things that never were and ask why not." Why not have a governor that will listen to parents and have quality education? We will with Glenn Youngkin. Why not have a governor that will keep our neighborhoods safe and support the police and oppose defunding the police? We will with Glenn Youngkin. Why not have a governor that will have a strong economy, support small business, aid the veterans, and create jobs? We will with Glenn Youngkin. Why not have a governor that will lower the food tax that has put an onerous burden on a lot of people? We will, if we can, with Glenn Youngkin. Why not have a governor that will eliminate and end sexual trafficking in the state? We can, and we will, with Glenn Youngkin. And lastly, I would say to everybody, Republicans and Democrats and independents, why not have a governor that will heal this state, that will not criticize and condemn and complain, but will bring people together to really reach across the aisle to make a difference? We can with Glenn Youngkin. Glenn Youngkin for governor.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's please welcome the passionate father from Loudoun County, Brandon Michon.
Who's ready to see Glenn Youngkin raise the freaking bar? Raise your hand if you're a parent. I'm a parent of 4. My mother is a parent of 6. And you know what? Glenn believes that your opinion matters when it comes to education. I believe your opinion matters when it comes to education. But Terry McAuliffe, he doesn't believe your opinion matters when it comes to education. Let me tell you a quick story. If you didn't see my viral video, it's on YouTube somewhere. Thank you, Alicia. But so it was the morning after that, and I get a phone call from a dad. He says, "Hey, Brandon, I just want to tell you thank you for sticking up for our children and being a voice of reason. As a father, as a parent, I just want to tell you thank you." And he said, "My name's Glenn Youngkin." And I said, "Oh, hey, Glenn, nice to meet you." Over the phone, right? And he said, "And I'm about to launch my governor's race. And I'm going to do something that no one else has done. I'm an outsider coming in, and I'm going to run on the pillar of education." Did you hear that? A pillar of education in this Commonwealth. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I truly believe that Glenn will empower parents to give them a voice in this Commonwealth. He's going to help us raise the freaking bar. But look, he can't do it alone. No one can. But what we can is together we can put him in Richmond. So I tell you, if you voted already, be an Uber. Bring someone tomorrow. If you haven't voted already, be an Uber and bring a bunch of people tomorrow. Because the only way that we can bring a man of honor, integrity, leadership to Richmond is by showing up tomorrow and electing Glenn Youngkin as the next governor of Virginia. Thank you very much, and see you at the polls tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, now please welcome your 2020 10th congressional nominee, Alicia Andrews.
Semper Fi, it's right. Our birthday's coming up. We've come a long, long way in the past several months, where we had a mad dad from Loudoun County, Virginia, break the internet and demand his children have more. Just like all of you, I watched it in horror and wondered, can anybody see us here in Loudoun? Can anybody see us in Northern Virginia? Can they hear the cries of the Commonwealth? The answer was no. But do you know who heard us? Do you know who listened to the cries? That's true. Jesus did. Pastor Gary, 10 points. Glenn Youngkin heard the cries of the Commonwealth, and he hears you every day. He's raised this entire campaign about making sure that parents matter. We are fighting every day against something that seems so inherently like it should be what we have, but we don't. So tomorrow isn't about a Republican or Democrat. Tomorrow is about the future of the Commonwealth and making Virginia the best place to live, work, and raise a family. And the opportunity is yours to make that happen. How many out here have already voted? That's not all of you, so I expect you all to be there bright-eyed and bushy-tailed tomorrow morning. But I do have a favor to ask of each one of you. This doesn't stop today. It doesn't stop tomorrow. We have to make sure that our values matter. And that's why tomorrow is so important, because we have an opportunity to elect someone who values what you care about, who knows that the future of the Commonwealth is so paramount. And that's something pretty cool. So tomorrow when you stand and you come out with us, whether you're volunteering, and each one of you are going to be harassed to volunteer because we need more poll workers. So we got people that are going to come get you at the end. But let me close with this. In the 1980s, there were some people in California that had a real opportunity to put someone as their governor. If you could, knowing what you know now about Ronald Reagan, would you not get up and get to the poll for Glenn Youngkin tomorrow? The time is now, and the time is up to each one of you to help us carry it across the line, because the first event we did here in Loudoun had 15 people. Take a look around. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over, but I'm going to ask you one more thing. If you could tonight, whatever your walk of faith is, please take a second and pray for our candidates. Pray for their families. Because giving what they're giving and giving what Glenn's doing, 50 events in 10 days, that's a man that wants your vote, and he's working real hard to prove to you he's worth becoming your governor. So tonight, whatever your walk of faith is, I ask that you say a prayer for Glenn and Suzanne Youngkin, for all of their children, for Jason, for Winsome, and for the future of our Commonwealth, and every candidate up and down the ballot from here to Timbuktu. They need you. So thank you all so much for being out tonight. Let's have a party.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Loudoun County Sheriff, Mike Chapman.
Hello, Loudoun County. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Can I still say that, or is that politically incorrect? Hey, I want to thank you all for being out here. I got to tell you something. I met Glenn Youngkin back in March, and Glenn asked me when we were talking, he said, what the heck is going on with public safety and law enforcement? And I said, Glenn, you know, I've been doing this job for 43 years. I have never seen anything like I'm seeing right now. I said, you've got prosecutors, you've got the parole board, you've got the General Assembly out there that treat victims like criminals and criminals like victims. I said, we got to turn this around. And he said, I'm all in. He goes, what do I got to do? And I said, Glenn, you got to support us. You got to make sure you fund us, and we need to be protected. We need to be out there making sure that we can do our jobs to keep everybody out here safe. I told him, I said, you know, what we're facing right now is a crisis because there's nobody that's enforcing the Constitution, the rule of law. Everything that we're doing now is about social equity. And I said, yeah, until about a year ago, I never heard the term equity except for, you know, my house. So I was gaining equity in my house. So I said, hey, look, you know, what I know what you have and what we need is sweat equity. And Glenn has that. I mean, when you work hard and you know that you can accomplish great things through hard work, and Glenn's a living example of that. And just look at this campaign he's done and look at the turnout that we have. Look what he's achieved in such a short time. It's nothing short of amazing to me. So let's get behind him. Let's make sure everybody gets out there. We need to get him in. We need it for law enforcement. We need it for public safety. We need it for education. And we need it to make sure that we continue to grow financially in this state. He's our guy. Thank you very much. Let's get out there and support Glenn Youngkin.
All right, if you're just now joining us, we are live here in Loudoun County, Virginia, awaiting Glenn Youngkin to take the stage here. He is reportedly to take the stage at about 9:30. We'll see if that happens. I know they were slightly behind everything. As you can see from the last time you checked in with us, look at the crowd. You know, Right Side Broadcasting Network is known for showing the crowds, and we are synonymous with the showing the crowds there at the famous President Trump rallies, which we all love and cannot wait till the next one. But take a look at this. What a great crowd we have here on a Monday night in Northern Virginia, as we are just less than 24 hours away from the gubernatorial race here in Virginia. And you've heard the reasons why people are out here. It really started with the school board and the education platform, and why Glenn Youngkin decided to get into this race is to stand up for education. And that was the platform that he based his entire campaign on. Now, if you go ahead and compound that with a lot of the other things that are going on in our in our culture, we're talking about as far as the economy, talking about the business-friendly environment that we have here in Virginia. He has really been taking on that agenda of lowering taxes here in Virginia, making it more affordable for people to live here. He mentioned from day one his game plan was to lower taxes, to clean up the government here, to eliminate the gas tax, to eliminate the grocery tax, and things like that, that the everyday person is affected. If you look at gasoline across the country, no matter where you're watching us right now, look at that. What was it like under a Trump administration? We all know that energy prices were a lot lower then. From day one, the Biden administration has really turned the Trump economic situation around to what we have here today. And that is one now setting up the results of why Glenn Youngkin has decided to get into this race. Now, folks, if you think about this for a second, this is the very first political election that we have had since the Biden administration. So we've had 10 months of economic downturns. We've had hyperinflation happen. We've had a crisis at the border. We've had just absolutely economic and foreign policy disasters. So now is a chance for the voters here in Virginia to make their opinion known and to go to the polls tomorrow. And I got word here, let me just double check this. There are 2 polls right now that are trending 9 to 10 points in favor of Glenn Youngkin. Now, mind you, we were in Danville less than just 2 weeks ago at a rally, and at that time, the polls had it at a dead heat. Well, fast forward 14 days, and now Youngkin has a 9 to 10 point lead over Terry McAuliffe. And so tomorrow, it is crucial that people turn out to vote. And if you want to look about what we did during the Trump campaign days, we saw 20, 30, 40, 50,000 people at a rally, and then compare that to a Biden rally, which would have about 10 people in a bunch of hula hoops, basically, at that point. That reflected what we saw on the campaign trail and the voter turnout, and we exactly know what happened there. Well, compare that to what we're seeing tonight. I've had several reports from other journalists that have been on both sides of this election, and they say, Brian, hands down, the people are turning out for Glenn Youngkin. They are simply not turning out for Terry McAuliffe at all. We had Barack Obama even be on the campaign trail with them. They maybe drew 1,000 people, maybe 1,000 people with former President Barack Obama. You saw President Joe Biden on the trail, First Lady Jill Biden on the campaign trail for McAuliffe. Still, those crowds are considerably less than what we have here today. So you take that same logic, you apply that tomorrow to actually election day, and you might see the numbers be way different than what you would think, because based upon what I'm seeing right now, hey, this election, it's not all but over, but if I'm just basing upon the turnout from the 2 campaigns, definitely we have a sizable advantage now. I want to see if I can talk to you guys, see if you guys want to make any comments on why you're here. And
it's all for the kids.
It's all for the kids. I said earlier, I'm a parent of 3 kids. If I lived in Virginia, I'd be raising holy hell, peacefully holy hell here at a school board meeting, but it's all about the kids, right?
I'm sorry?
It's all about the kids.
It's all about the kids. It's all about the kids.
Yeah, big fan of Youngkin. So I think he has what it takes.
I think also, if you look at what it needs to do to win, it is bringing in the moderate Democrats, it's bringing in the libertarians, the independents, because that's the people that's really going to sway the election at the end of the day. We assume conservatives will show up for this, but it's very important that the independents do show up, and maybe the education is the platform that brings them in.
I think that's a big thing that Glenn has done, is really try to bring everybody in on that. I mean, you hear what McAuliffe says, and frankly, I don't know if he's ever even talked to any parents, because, I mean, we live in Loudoun County, and that's just not what it's not what they're teaching. So it's interesting how he just keeps the same rhetoric that doesn't make much sense. So
Same.
Now, let me ask you a question. In your immediate circle, how many people do you know that are turning up for the polls tomorrow to vote for Glenn Youngkin? In your immediate circle of friends?
I'd say at least a couple dozen. I mean, close to 100.
You know anybody that's showing up for Terry McAuliffe tomorrow?
Maybe one person, just because he's a lifelong union guy.
You know, it's interesting you say that, because we talked to somebody earlier, and some of these people are so dead in their habits of being politicized. Like, well, I'm definitely, I'm not, would never cross party lines. Those people you're never going to reach, in my opinion. They're dead. But it's the independents. So you know, one or two, but the majority of the people are turning out for Youngkin.
Yeah, that we are around on our neighborhood is pretty much full of Youngkin signs and that sort of thing. So, and we're right in Leesburg, so it's good to see.
Can we talk about the economic side of this real quickly? How is the business here in Virginia? Is it tough? I don't know what you do for a living, but
Northern Virginia is filled with a lot of folks that are affiliated with the federal government. It's a very affluent place to live in most places in Loudoun County and Fairfax County and places like that. It's a common principle, right? We want to be able to have more money to do what we want to do with it versus give more away constantly. And I just don't think that's a good thing for the overall message. So
we all miss President Trump, don't we?
Wow. Frankly, I wasn't really a Trump guy. I'm a Youngkin guy. Frankly,
But you like the political outsiders in a way. I mean, those are the guys that come into office, they shake things up.
Right. I mean, because you'd like to think that they actually have some experience with the real world, for lack of a better term, and not
which we love.
Right. Lifelong politicians, and nothing against those. There's still some good ones of those, but folks that come out of the normal world are more relatable, in my opinion. So.
God bless you guys for coming out here and holding up the signs, and the sign says it all, Parents for Youngkin, and that's exactly what these two parents right here are their concerns with. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on that. And that's kind of what you see here, and you've seen it's all about education, but the economy, I think, is another big thing. I mean, when you look around in your own immediate world where you live right now and look at the situation, look at the job situation, there's not a business that you can't go to that doesn't reflect what's going on in the employment sector. We were just at a very popular fast food restaurant, very upscale chain here before we came to this broadcast, and once again the dining room was closed. Not because of COVID, it's because of labor shortage. There is a labor shortage in this country, and we have been to a dozen cities in the last couple weeks, and I'm telling you folks, the people do not have it. They're not incentivized to actually go back and work. They have been fed, spoon-fed, basically socialism and paid to stay at home. And there's no incentive for them to go out and actually work. And that hurts the economy, the fact that businesses aren't enabled to fully open up at 100%. And they can't, serve their customer faster and better and provide the service and quality of product that they're used to doing. So we have got to get this country open. And we've got to get people back at work. And it doesn't matter what state you're watching us from right now. I can assure you that is the case wherever you live. Hey, let's turn our attention and talk about another great patriot of ours that we absolutely love on this network. And that would be our good friend Mike Lindell over at MyPillow. Earlier today we had a live broadcast in front of the Supreme Court talking about the Texas Heartbeat Act. Attorney General Ken Paxton was there, Angela Paxton, a senator in Texas, was there, and others spoke about their support for the pro-life movement. And I can assure you, as Mike Lindell fights for election integrity, Mike Lindell would also fight for the pro-life movement. He would fight for the education for your kids. So let's take a few moments before Glenn Youngkin takes his stage, and go over to MyPillow.com, MyStore.com as well, and put that promo code RSBN at checkout to get up to 66% off your entire order. Now, mind you, just a couple days ago, I had the pleasure to go up to Minnesota, toured the MyPillow factory. I walked around and actually had a great look at how they make these quality products. And let me tell you, they employ thousands of people. They pay a great wage, and he really is a great asset to that community. But he needs your support to help do all of that. So go pick out some great Christmas gifts. Go buy some Giza sheets, some flannel sheets, the dog beds, the towels, the slippers, the pillows, the travel pillows. I think I'm in a city just about every day on the plane, and I cannot do it without that travel pillow. So go check it out at MyPillow.com, MyStore.com. Put that promo code RSBN at checkout to get up to 66% off. The music has died. Let's see what happens next. No, another song. Let me see. Let's check the local time here. It's 9:23. 9:23 here local time in Northern Virginia. He's scheduled to come on at 9:30. We'll see exactly if that has happened. We've had several speakers up to this point that has shared their thoughts on what's going on right now. But we're glad you're joining us. And as we talked about earlier, Loudoun County has been ground zero for the school board issues. And it doesn't matter where you're watching us right now. Chances are the school board in your area has experienced the impact of what they're doing here in Northern Virginia. It is about critical race theory. It's about pushing back on what is being taught to our kids and what is being taught on the radical educational system, that we need to have as parents control of what our kids are being taught in school. Now, I'm a parent of 3 kids. My oldest one is in Los Angeles. He does online school, seminary studies, but I've got 2 other younger kids that are in high school. And let me tell you something, ever since Loudoun County has come out and really been the vocal point of all of this, it's turned my attention. I've paid more attention to what's going on in my local school board, and I just encourage you to do the same, to get involved in your immediate world. You know, I've said this before, if you want to change the world, it starts with the little community around you. Get involved with your school board, get involved with your student, city council, get involved with your community and make a difference there. And of course, if you like Glenn Youngkin, if you like President Trump, if you like Carrie Lake, they took it to a much bigger platform and making a difference in the state that they live in. So we think that the power is definitely in the people, and I think this should be inspiration to all of us to understand that you do have the ability to make a change in your world, no matter how big or how small your world is, and how big or small you think your impact is. You can make a difference. And let me talk about our app real quick, because that's one way that you can make a difference in all of our broadcasts. You know, you can obviously follow us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter. And I encourage you also to go to the Apple and Android store and download our new app. We launched it about 6-7 months ago. For a while, you guys had that in the top 3 most downloaded app for about a week because of the surge in people downloading that app. So I encourage everybody right now to go to the Apple store, Android store, download our app, and what you're going to get is this broadcast today. All of our live content is broadcast on that app. But you can also go back at all those wonderful Trump rallies we've covered over the last several years. They're all on there. They're all on there for you to watch, and some highlight moments as well. We got Red, White, and Truth. Our show with Mike Crispy is on there. Laura Trump is on there. We got Diamond and Silk is on there. The great Michael Savage, the great radio conservative talk show host, Michael Savage. Yes, you can even get his content on there as well. So I just want to encourage everyone to go download our app. And it helps us to continue to really bring this to you, as we know that big tech has been pretty forceful on us as far as some shadow banning going on. So the app enables us to make sure that even if you don't get the message that we're on, you can always go to our app, because you'll get a notification as well. Which also reminds me to my third and last final point with all of this. Go to our website, rsbnetwork.com/newsletter, rsbnetwork.com/newsletter, and subscribe to our newsletter. We have a staff of wonderful writers that every day, it seems like, they're pushing out fresh content and whatever's relevant in the news cycle, that's what they're sharing. So I just encourage you to go subscribe to our newsletter. It takes about 30 seconds to do that. Go put your email in there. You'll get an email alert, and you'll get the newsletter pushed out to you whenever it goes live, and also get live updates as well. So if you want to follow me on social media, you can do that as well. I am Brian Glenn TV, BrianGlenn on TV. You'll see me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And I will try to give you as much behind the scenes look here as I can. So follow us on all of our social media platforms. We have seen our numbers on our content just continue to grow. Our base has continued to grow, and that's a shout out to you guys. I mean, this network started 2015, 2016 during the Trump campaign, and we're the first really news organization to go to these rallies and to show the rallies. We were the first to actually show the crowd, show the people, get the interviews, and we do 8-9 hour broadcast on Trump rally days. So we continue to be the leader in that genre, and we're only doing it because you guys want to see it, and we want to bring the content to the people. That's what it's about. It's about bringing the content, bringing the subject matter to the people and showing them what they want. And we filled that void, and we are so thankful for all of our viewers for giving us an opportunity over the years. You've supported our advertisers, you've supported us financially at the network, and we just really appreciative of that. So if you want to feel led to give to our network, you can also do that as well. Go to rsbnetwork.com/donate, rsbnetwork.com/donate, and you can donate to our network as well. We are viewer funded. We've got partners like Mike Lindell and a few others, but really our growth is contributed to you. You've done a phenomenal job helping us out at the network, watching our broadcast, subscribing to us on Rumble, donating in the super chats, and all that good stuff across YouTube and other platforms. So we just want to continue to say thank you to you. We'll continue to bring all this content to you unfiltered and uninterrupted. Program note, tomorrow night we will be at the Glenn Youngkin for Governor headquarters in Northern Virginia. We're going to start that coverage, I think, around 8 o'clock. I've got to check my timeline on that, so we'll stay tuned for that. We'll push out some social media notifications on that as well to give you an idea of what time, but we'll be there. And hopefully, unlike some of the other elections we've seen, hopefully we'll know a winner by tomorrow night. I know that here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, they don't have the mass mail-outs for the ballots. You don't see that here. You have to request the mail-in ballots. You have to present an ID. They have very strict and normal in today's standards of voter procedures here in Virginia. So, which is a good thing, which means fast forward that potentially we will see a winner declared tomorrow night for the Commonwealth of Virginia. Okay, fast forward to November 3rd. We'll be in the great state of Arizona. So much has gone down in that state in the last year or so. I'll be with the great Carrie Lake for governor, a rally there in Glendale, Arizona, right there in the Phoenix area. Is at Dream City Church, I believe, is the venue for that. You'll have Wendy Rogers and some other people talking about election integrity and what needs to be done to move forward to ensure that we have the safest and securest elections that we could possibly get. So that is Wednesday night at, I believe, 6 o'clock there, Mountain Time in Phoenix. Once again, we'll send out some social media posts to promote that. Are we getting a good look at the sides? I mean, when I first came here, I saw the overflow cam, and I was like, well, are we ever going to fill this space up? And it looks like we have. The music is here. The excitement is here. The energy is here. It feels very much like a Trump rally. It seems like a scaled down Trump rally, but my goodness, it is just got a great vibe here on a beautiful Monday night in Northern Virginia, and we're so glad that you're joining us. Let's talk about the media here real quickly. There is a considerable amount of media. Mainstream media is definitely here. CNN, Fox, and some other of the bigger networks. So we've got some local affiliates here. We have some affiliates out of the bigger cities here in Virginia. So all eyes are on the Youngkin camp. And from what I understand, there is media showing up, obviously, to the Terry McAuliffe. But from what I've been told, the numbers are simply not there as far as their turnout. But you're getting a good eye of what it looks like here at this rally. So if the Biden administration wants to know what's going on here at the Glenn Youngkin rally. If Terry McCullough's people are watching this right now, here it is, folks. These are the people that have turned out on a Monday night that want to support Glenn Youngkin for governor. So we're very thankful that they have turned out. And, of course, this has been one of those things that, they've released these rallies so close together. They said that, 50 rallies in the last 10 days. Just do the math on that. That's five rallies a day. He's basically going across the state of Virginia, getting in front of people like this. Now he's stopping at coffee shops. He's stopping at diners. He's going to businesses and making his name heard. But he's a very busy man. You can imagine he's working that hard for you now. When he gets the job, just imagine how harder he will work from day one. And he's laid out his agenda from day one, exactly what he plans to do as governor in this state. It is to lower the cost of living. It is to invest in education. And it's to really clean up a lot of the fat that is associated with the budget and the fiscal responsibility in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So he is very much a businessman. He's a man of faith. Faith guides him through all of this. And I think he would make for a wonderful leader. If you missed our Supreme Court coverage earlier today, very historical moment in our country in front of the Supreme Court as Ken Paxton, Angela Paxton, and others from the great state of Texas gathered to listen to the remarks and the discussion built around the Texas Heartbeat Act. Now, if you're not familiar with that bans any abortion past 6 weeks. And that's where the medical community has determined that that's basically when a heartbeat is detected in a mother in the baby's womb, in the womb of the mother and the baby at 6 weeks. So that is what has been detected. So that has been a very controversial law, not only in Texas. There's been some pushback for that, but as a country. But what I'm getting to is this. Could that be the beginning of the reversal of Roe versus Wade? It's a cultural swing in this country. It is the pro-life movement. It is the right for life, protecting the unborn. It is a big topic. And when you look at what's concerning to parents and what's concerning to voters, yes, it's the economy. Yes, it's the immigration reform, but it is also abortion. And that is one thing that is really on the minds of voters. And so we fast forward to, I believe, December 1st. There's another case that will be heard. I think it's the Dobb case based out of Mississippi, which basically bans abortions 15 weeks at 15 weeks. So yet another. And so one of the questions was posed that is this going to set precedents to other states around the country coming up with similar heartbeat acts? And I would only hope so that it would. If you are a pro-life advocate, I would hope that each state would say, you know what, enough's enough. Let's do what's right, and let's do what's right in his eyes. Now, mind you, our country, and when I meet people who, for whatever reason, doesn't agree with me politically, I usually ask them two questions. Number one, are you a person of faith? Do you believe in God? The answer to that question will lead me down a different direction. My question number two I ask somebody is, do you love this country? And if your answer is no to one and two, both questions, then you have a lot of work that needs to be done with you, because your view on the world is very much skewed at that point. So you got to love this country, and you got to put your faith in God. God gave us these rights. The government did not issue us our rights, despite what they want you to think. God gave us our rights. We have to make sure that the government does not take away our God-given rights. And that is one of the things that you see from the conservative movement. We're about protecting your rights. And it seems like a lot of the liberal side, the very democratic socialist movement, if you will, and that's exactly what it is. It's a degree of socialism. It's all about control. It's about eliminating your rights as a citizen, and you putting your faith in the government versus putting your faith in God. That's a fundamental difference between a conservative and a liberal. A conservative puts his faith in God. A liberal puts his faith in the government. So more government you have, more control you have in someone's life, the better one should feel. But it's the exact opposite. And in socialism, we've seen, you go around the world, you see the results of socialism, and you can see just how the effects on that, not only the economy, but the morale, the jobs. That's why people are coming here. That's why people are running to our southern border, because of failed policies around the world. Talking about southern border, I wrapped up a trip with Ken Paxton in El Paso a couple weeks ago. I spoke to some comm people earlier. We're trying to get another trip down to the border in McAllen, Del Rio area real soon to get a check on that. Also in the Yuma, Arizona area, we're trying to get a trip scheduled down there as well, as illegal immigration continues to be such a heated topic in this country. And of course, the Biden administration suggesting that immigrants receive a $450,000 reparations payment to ones that had their kids separated at the border. Now, I'm telling you right now, this is just my personal opinion. The fact that they're even thinking about doing that should set your hair on fire. You're talking about a total disrespect for people that have come into this country legally, and it's a slap in the face to everyone who has done it right by the system. And you know what? I'll go a step further. If you talk about reparations toward African Americans, and that has been a topic you've heard for several years being brought up, about paying African Americans reparations for slavery. And of course, even if you're not directly involved in that, and maybe you didn't experience that, you're still going to be compensated. Now, if they're going to bypass that logic and go straight to doing reparations for illegals coming into this country illegally, then I don't understand the logic. You want to talk about a low, absolutely makes zero sense. I can't even try to put the puzzle pieces together on that. But that should be a slap in the face for every hardworking American that pays your taxes and abides by the law. And this administration wants a conveyor belt of illegals coming into this country, and we all know what the end game is with this. We all know what the end game with this is. It's for votes. They are harvesting future Democrat voters by paying them to come in this country and inviting them from around the world. It's just not Central America and Mexico. Talked to a border agent just the other day. They had people from Romania come in, Hungary come in, Budapest come in. So all across Europe and all across the Middle East, they're coming in through our southern border. They're flying into El Paso and paying a cartel to escort them to the border. At that point, they walk across, throw up their hands, and surrender to border security and get a first-class ticket to the U.S. And that's exactly how they're doing it. And if that doesn't make your hair stand up on your arm, I don't know what will, because it's a total disrespect to everyone who follows the law in this country. And if you want to take it back and look at what was like under the Trump administration, a very controlled, we had one of the lowest rates of illegal immigration in many years under the Trump administration with the wall and with his border policies. Music has slowed down. Let's see if we get a cue from the public address announcer. Perhaps now's the time that we'll have Youngkin come on. It is silent. I'm thinking we've got a few more minutes. Yep, got a few more minutes before he comes in, but I can tell that the excitement is here and people are ready. I got my first right side shot out there. We appreciate your support, and hey, like I said, if it wasn't for the viewers, we would not be here. But immigration is very much a big concern, and even if you live in a northern state and you don't border the southern, if your state doesn't border, the Mexican border, the policies, the effects of the lack of a policy affects you in your own backyard through the immigrations in your school system, through the drugs that go into your communities. It's there, and it's not just a border issue, it's a national issue that we make sure that we get that cleaned up. Hey, earlier we had a chance to announce a couple of winners to our giveaways from the MyPillow team. And I want to give you guys an opportunity right now to spread the word if you know these individuals. Okay, the winner of the sheets and the towels. We have 2 winners that won those great Giza sheets and those great absorbent towels. Amanda Allridge and Christine Ward. Christine Ward, congratulations, guys. You have won those wonderful sheets and towels. Now let's get to the bed, that comfortable MyPillow bed. Now, I wish I had one in my house right now, because after being on the road for several days, I want to get to my house and one of those MyPillow beds. But we got 2 winners for that as well. So Nanette Wandry, and Jared Ventura, congratulations. You have won a MyPillow bed. You can send us an email at feedback@rsbn.tv. That's feedback@rsbn.tv. Send us an email. We'll get back to you with all the details on exactly how you can win. Let me see if I can talk to you guys. Talk. We're live on the air, Right Side Broadcasting. Come on. Well, hang on a second. We might. Okay, we changed the music up. No, you're good. We're just here talking about why people are here, why Glenn Youngkin, why he should be your next governor here.
Because he cares. Are you kidding me? He cares about the future, the children. I raised my children here. I've been here over 20-some years. I care. Even if my children are grown, I care.
We've seen a lot of parents. This has been ground zero for Loudoun County. I mean, if it wasn't for you guys, there's school boards across the country that would not be getting involved like you guys have gotten involved here.
We totally need to be involved, okay? Because they are our future leaders. Where's your camera?
Well, you got some people. Is she with you as well? Yeah.
She's in a Republican club at school.
Oh, look at you getting involved.
Yes.
Yeah? So what is it like to be a Republican young leader at your school? I mean, I know that may not be culturally hip to be a conservative and a Republican, but hey, you know what? You got to stand out and fight.
It's awesome. It truly, I feel like I'm making a difference with 160 other kids. And it's awesome because you get to stick up for a belief that not everybody has. And it's great to be backed up by that many people and to know that you're not alone in this world.
So tomorrow, big election day, you plan obviously to get out and support. And we talked about it earlier that we know we got the support here, but really who turns up on election day is really what's crucial.
Absolutely, it is crucial. We're all here to voice what we think is the right thing to do, and Youngkin is the way to go.
Youngkin is the way to go. I've heard these Terry McAuliffe rallies have about 10 people. They're all standing around.
Oh my gosh, did you know that his children went to a private school?
That's why he doesn't care about your daughter's education.
He doesn't know what he's doing. Come on.
Come on, man.
Get somebody who's a real Republican who really cares about parents, family, children, everything.
I also think it's important that we get independents and libertarians and moderate Democrats involved in this, because it's just not a conservative liberal point of view. It's your kids. It's a human view.
Our future. That's what matters. Right?
Absolutely. Okay, you got school tomorrow, right?
No, this whole week.
Amen. Why is that? Is it? Staff planning days. You need more staff planning days, right? I love it. Well, when you go back to school, tell me you're on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and you'll probably be president of your Republican girls at your school.
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for your time there. I love talking to parents. You know, people are always passionate about their kids and passionate about the educational system, and we love it. And that has been one of the biggest driving factors here today, has been the parents. It has been the kids. It has been the education, and stay out of our, let us make the decision what's best for our kids, not the government. And I think we can all agree that seems like a logical plan, but that's sometimes not the way the government goes. Sometimes they don't necessarily do that. It is 9:46 here locally. I know that he was scheduled to take the stage here momentarily. We'll see how close we are with that. We're glad that you're joining us tonight. All eyes are on the state of Virginia, as tomorrow is Election Day. According to 2 polls, we have Youngkin up as much as 10 points in those polls. Now, if you go back several 3-4 months, that was not the case. I would say that in the last 2 weeks, he has really continued to make strides and close the gap, and now have a sizable lead on Terry McAuliffe. Now, will the Biden support that him coming on board with the rallies will, President Barack Obama getting involved as well. Has that helped him at all? One would think it has not, because ever since he's jumped on and campaigned for McAuliffe, his numbers have only gone down. Now, obviously, as we get close, a lot of people have said, hey, where are the young people? Where are the young college kids at these rallies? They have been pretty much non-existent. The average person, I'd probably say, is about 55 plus at these rallies. A little bit older, an older crowd here at both rallies that I have been to. And of course, even the Terry McAuliffe rallies, I've heard that the overall age at these rallies have been a little older. Now, mind you, older people have kids. College kids don't typically have kids. So maybe that's one of the leading indicators of why you're seeing such a mature support coming out for both candidates. But the election is tomorrow. The election is not based upon rally turnout. The election is not based upon how many social media posts and views you get on videos. It is based upon how many show up on election day. And of course, that is the key for tomorrow. If one was to say, based upon what we see today, tomorrow will be a great day for Glenn Youngkin if things are translated into rally turnout and voter show up. You would think that, but unfortunately in this political day, you'd never know what will happen. But we're glad that you're here watching this with us. I mean, our eyes were on Virginia when this race started to really heat up, knowing that it was a concern for our viewers, and especially if you live in Virginia, but also a concern for viewers like in Arizona. And you've got an outsider, a political outsider in Kari Lake. She was an accomplished journalist in Arizona. I'm going to throw out some swag here in a second to the crowd. Always like that. Some T-shirts, hats, things like that. Very popular. Great thing to do here and get the crowd motivated just as before we get Youngkin on stage. But, you see this political movement with Kari Lake and the groundswell of support that she has in Arizona. Has a double-digit lead over the closest candidate. Now, mind you, they're months away from everything really taking off. But if the election was done today, she's your next governor in Arizona. If the election was done today, based upon the size of these turnouts of the rally, Youngkin is your governor in Virginia. So two candidates that come from very similar outsider backgrounds, accomplished in their fields, but have the grassroots support of the people in respected states. And I think, and they connect on a level very much like President Trump did. President Trump connected on a level that we've never seen in politics. You had people from all walks of life support this president for the love of country. He's able to relate to all walks of life. Yes, he was a very accomplished businessman, but guess what? The guy with a set of tools in the back of that white cargo van that was a plumber, and he made a living towards his trade by using his hands. He was just as much relatable to Trump as maybe a Wall Street or a business owner. So you're reaching all types of demos in our society, and I think that's what's important to point out here, is that Youngkin, very successful in business, very accomplished, walked away from private life of having a good life and wanting to serve the public and make Virginia a better place to live, just like Kari Lake. Got out of journalism at a very successful station there in the Arizona Phoenix area, and decided she'd step aside to make Arizona a better place, and really got fed up with what she saw, not only in the political world, but in the government, the way her elected officials were not serving the people. Well, Youngkin, very similar story. Looked at what was going on in Virginia, did not like what he saw, and decided to get into the political realm and run for governor. So that's what it's taking. And this I said this from 2016. President Trump has paved the way for political outsiders and people just like you and I that have a vision for a better country, and we see where the problems are at. We see exactly what we think needs to be changed, and it may buck against what the establishment has done over time, But at the same time, it's the right thing to do. And so President Trump paved the way for that. And so Youngkin is just, in my opinion, just another person that sees the opportunity to make a difference in their world. And I think that's what is very honorable, that he is putting aside his personal life to get into that. We are moments away. If you're just now joining us, thank you so much. We have been live here since about 8 p.m. Eastern time, getting ready for Glenn Youngkin to say a few words. I would imagine he's going to talk about, parents for Youngkin. He's going to talk about crime that he's seeing across the state. Many cities want to defund the police. Mind you, you go to any inner city and you talk about that, it becomes illogical in that sense that they'd ever want to defund the police. It just seems like it doesn't even make sense. But he's going to talk about crime. He's going to talk about the economy. He's going to talk about faith, perhaps pro-choice. Pro-life, pro-life and the right for life will be into the conversation as well. So things that are concerning to the citizens of Virginia is what you're going to hear tonight, and issues that he's heard on the campaign trail. He's been listening to the people. Like I said, he's been 50 rallies in 10 days. That's a lot of conversations. That's a lot of handshakes. That's a lot of, let me tell you about my situation. And that's exactly what he has done. He's been out there wanting to know exactly what the pulse is in the state of Virginia. So that's what it takes. And you've seen that with candidates like Lake. She is always out, once again, meeting the people. Terry McAuliffe, it's interesting, they said earlier that he's not listening to the parents. He's not listening to what people want. He's listening to what the machine wants, what the swamp wants, what the establishment wants. Mind you, he was governor in this state years ago and is trying to reclaim that seat. So it's all about listening to the people. And, that's with anything. If you own a business and you don't listen to your employees and the concerns of your employees, it really hinders your ability to move forward and govern that business and make it as profitable and a great place to work and provide for people's families. That's just very much like it is here in politics. If you don't listen to the people of what their concern is and what their needs are as citizens of your state and your area, then how can you form a government that benefits them if you don't listen to them? And people just want to be heard. And it comes down to just the basics. People want to feel like you care about them. And that's with their company. If you're a business owner, you can probably relate to that. People want to know that you care about them. And that's no difference in politics. People want to know that you care about their needs. And when people feel like politicians are no longer listening to the people, when people feel like that's no longer happening, they rise up and they fight. And candidates like Youngkin will emerge at that point and become a force in politics. And that's what happened with President Trump in 2016. That's what happened to him in 2020. And that's what happened to a lot of these elections. Now, there is another gubernatorial race in the city, in the country. You can tell where my mind is right now. I've been talking for 12 hours now. In the state of New Jersey, we have a race going on there. We also have a congressional race, I believe, in Ohio. So this is just the beginning of, 2022 primary season is underway, and this is the very beginning of this. And so if this election is to go the Youngkin direction, that would be a big hit to the Democratic Party, and they would probably be a wake-up call to a lot of them that would say, look, man, these policies from Biden have not been the best for the American people, and they're not going to take it. So I can assure you that the Biden administration is watching this race. Perhaps they're watching this broadcast tonight. And if they are, this is just an indicator of what it's going to look like in 2022, because I can promise you this is just the beginning of the campaign season, and this red wave that's been so promised to come after these destructive policies will only get bigger for sure. I want to remind everybody, go to our website, rsbnetwork.com, rsbnetwork.com, subscribe to our newsletter, download our app on our iPhone in your Android store, absolutely free. You can take this show on the road wherever you want. You can go back and just watch. You can binge watch about every Trump rally that we've done the last couple years is on there. You can binge watch Diamond and Silk and all the other great shows. So make sure you download our app today to get quality broadcasting at the palm of your hand, absolutely free. And the newsletter, by the way, is tremendous. You will be right there sent to your email and your inbox when we push it out. We promise we don't spam or anything like that, but we've got some great writers on staff that talk about all the issues that are concerning to you, because we listen to you as far as what is important to you. That's the whole existence of Right Side Broadcasting Network, is we listen to our viewers in what you care about. And what you care about is fair and honest elections. What you care about is this country. What you care about is servicing and serving God and his needs, and really being a light of positivity in our world. That's what you care about. That's why we're here. And that's why we were at the Supreme Court earlier today, because we know that the mass amount of people that watch Right Side are pro-life. And we want to make sure that we mirror that particular segment, and we give you what you want. Festive vibe here, people dancing to the music here. It feels like a Trump rally. We got here earlier, and they were still setting up some of the bleachers and the flags and things like that. It felt like a Trump rally, and so now it absolutely feels like a Trump rally right now, with the enthusiasm, the engagement in the political party. And if you remember during the Trump campaign, when you go to a Biden rally, it was kind of a depressing situation. It was like a couple people standing in hula hoops, trying to look like they were having a good time, versus the festive party atmosphere that is a Trump rally. And now that Glenn Youngkin can basically put the flag in the ground and say, you know what, I can do one of those rallies too. Music has died down. Let's see if the PA announcement cues an announcement. Nope. Here we go. We keep going. Keep going. So obviously, this guy's traveled across the state. It's 9:58 here on the East Coast. 9:58. I can only imagine that we could be getting a little closer to him taking the stage. And as I jokingly said earlier about kids calling into school tomorrow a little late, because you're going to be up past your bedtime tonight, kids. But it's important, because we're trying to save your state. We're trying to save your school boards. And it's a great time to, great excuse to miss work right now, and miss school rather. So it's coming up on 10 o'clock here, and look at the energy. And the crowd's actually walking in some of the cars. There's still cars coming in here. I can't imagine if they would assume that this thing would already be wrapped up by now, considering it was supposed to start at around 8:30. But nevertheless, people are still coming in here and kind of filled up the overflow. If I'm looking behind the press risers here, there is some people that's been pushed back off camera there. Can't see them, but good crowd here on this Monday night in Virginia. Also, make note that we will continue to monitor the situations in other states and political states. I know a lot going on in Georgia. We'll continue to monitor that. And also other events in regards to election integrity. I know that we have been up in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Racine County, Wisconsin, had a press conference the other day with the sheriff laying out a couple things discrepancies that they found. We'll continue to monitor all of that, as we know that in having a clear path with election integrity is important. So we'll continue to bring all the updates on that as well. But we're glad you're joining us here in Northern Virginia. As I said earlier, let us know where you're watching us from. It's very important for us to know kind of where our viewers are at, and comment also on your school board situation and what is the biggest concern to you as a parent when it comes to your school boards, as far as what you want to change. Have you been to a school board meeting? Are you calling to get a petition to recall your school board officials? Like, let us know about things like that. I know when I first saw Loudoun County here in Virginia, and this was ground zero on the school board meetings. This is where the parents showed up and went viral. All the videos that you saw on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook, they all came from here. So if you've been inspired to get involved with your school board, let us know in the comments section We do go back and read a lot of these comments after our broadcast, and we'll comment on them, and we take note of that. We want to know exactly what is going on in your world around you. So let us know what is the scene as far as school board where you live. I know I'm up in North Texas, and ever since I saw exactly what was going on up here in Virginia, I made big note of what was going on in my immediate world there. I've got one kid that's in college and the other two coming up, so I've got I got a dog in the hunt, if you would, it's so to say. So I'm very concerned with what's going on in our school system, very concerned about what's being taught in our school system. Are we teaching history? Are we teaching propaganda? Are we teaching that you should have complete white guilt, and that you are, the critical race theory, that everything is basically inherently racist in our culture, that we should be apologetic on every aspect of our lives? And of course the answer to that is no. I've turned 52 today. Today was my birthday, and I was thinking back on kind of where I was at, in middle school and elementary, and what we were taught in high school, and it is nothing to what they're trying to teach today. And I'm only 52, and I can imagine if someone is in their late 20s and 30s, it was probably a different situation there. I know things have changed over the years of what they're trying to teach. Music's queued down. Let's see if we have an announcement from the PA advisor. Nope. Going into another song, which means we're probably still a few moments away. 10:03 local time here in Loudoun County, Virginia. This is set on the county fairgrounds. Beautiful part of the country up here. If you haven't been to Northern Virginia, I can only imagine if you're the foliage here with the leaves turning. If I would have been here about 2 weeks ago, I bet it was at its peak. It's just a beautiful part of the country, rolling hills here, and just a great backdrop for tonight's rally here. And as these things have moved around the state of Virginia, they have had these rallies in coffee shops, diners, breakfast places. He's gone to companies and met business owners and talked to employees about what their needs are. And that is why what you say grassroots, and when you talk about that versus someone who has been a part of the political machine for years, their campaign basically means they show up at donor meetings, and they get the sizable political donations, and they don't really go out and meet the people like a grassroots organization does. They just don't. They take it for granted that the machines behind them, that they're going to be elected based upon a part of the quote machine. And you don't see the campaigning that you see with someone that came from a political outside, because that's not how they were basically raised. That's not how their mindset. It's not a bad habit yet of getting into that, and nor I don't think it will be, because they don't come from that. That's what I love about these political outside candidates, that they have such fresh perspectives on how to treat the voters and how to treat the people that actually put them in office. And it's refreshing to see candidates like Glenn Youngkin out here doing this. And it just makes you wonder, what's the next generation of politicians look like? Are they people that have been in office for 20, 30 years, or are they basically political outsiders, first timers, accomplished in the business sector? So it's just interesting. Music is queued down again. Let's see if this is the time that Glenn Youngkin would take the stage. Here we go.
The bus is currently 5 minutes away. Everyone, let's make some noise. The bus is 5 minutes away. Put your rally signs in the air if you're excited for Glenn Youngkin tonight. Let's hear it, folks.
Warning on the bus pulling up. And so you'll see the bus ironically pulled up behind the stage. It will come down this little country road, and it will make a right and pull right behind the stage. And that's when you'll see Glenn Youngkin get out of the bus and come up. Oddly enough, you can sign Glenn Youngkin's bus. I had the opportunity to do that in Danville just a few weeks ago. Great thing. Put Right Side Broadcasting up on the bus. Signed it, "We Love You." And just a great, but then again, that's all about connecting to the people. That is all about being accessible to the people. Go look at Terry McAuliffe's bus. There's probably not one signature on that bus. There's not, if he has a bus, I don't know, he may not even have a bus. But there's not one signature on that bus. But Glenn Youngkin's about the people. He's about connecting to the people. He's about, look, come out here and sign my bus. And he will take pictures next to every single person that lines up. Now we're throwing out more T-shirts. I just saw a T-shirt that looked like it flew over the North Carolina, Virginia line here. It was absolutely cannoned out like a rocket. I don't know. It looks like a 3-run homer from the Astros right now. But, you know, once again, it's about energizing the crowd here. It's about getting people jacked up for their candidate. And, it's been a long campaign season for a lot of these volunteers and a lot of these supporters. We had people off camera tell us they've been with him almost from day one through this campaign, have helped knock on doors and pass out door hangers and do the things it takes to get the message out. So this is something that, tonight's for them. Tonight is for them. Tonight's the night they come out and, finally we're going to go across that checkered line. I got a T-shirt. Looks like it's coming right to me, Gage. Oh, actually, it did come right to me. It came feet away from me. I could have grabbed that T-shirt for you. But, tonight's the night. And, of course, tomorrow with election night, we'll be alongside with Glenn Youngkin, and we'll follow the progression of the election, very much like we did with the Recall Newsom effort with Larry Elder in California. We'll be there covering it, bringing you the results as they come in, getting reaction from the volunteers and the supporters there as well. So all eyes on Virginia tomorrow, so please plan to join us then for our coverage for that. A lot of fun here tonight. And of course, I'm watching some of these shirts get popped out of this gun here. What a lot of fun. Of course, the kids love it. Who doesn't like a T-shirt gun? No, I don't care what, you go to any NBA arena or any baseball arena. That's going to the media right there. That might have hit the fake news media right on the head with that T-shirt just now. Anyway, all right, that's about it for there. We're a couple minutes away. We should see that bus pull up, and he will make his exit, come to the stage, and I would say deliver about if I'm guessing here, about a 30-minute speech before wrapping it up here and probably getting a good night's rest before it's off tomorrow. Full day for him tomorrow as it's election day here in Virginia. One last moment also, go check out our friends over at MyPillow.com. That's MyPillow.com. Put that promo code RSBN. Giza sheets, flannel sheets. If you live in this part of the country where it's getting colder and colder and colder, perhaps you need some slippers. Slide those in, keep your feet warm, keep nice and comfy. So go to MyPillow.com. That's MyPillow.com, and put that promo code RSBN at checkout to get up to 66% off your entire order. And this is what I would do. This is my strategy here. I want you to get that cart. I want you to load it up with stuff, even stuff that you didn't think you could ever afford, stuff that you said, you know what, I don't think I can afford that. Load those products up. And when you load it up, put that promo code RSBN, and then you'll watch that net price that you pay absolutely go down and down and down. And that's what the key is there. So please go to MyPillow.com and also go to MyStore.com. Thousands of products right there right there. And you can point, click, order, you'll get it. And of course, we toured the MyPillow factory. We saw exactly how they make all those great products, and it's right there. It's all handmade right there in the U.S. He employs thousands of people in that community, and it's just been a great partner. And of course, he has a second chance, a kind of an employer guy. He loves the fact that giving people a second chance. We've talked to several employees there about his ability to give them a second chance in life at employment, and that's exactly what he does. And he has the Lindell Recovery Network as well for people suffering from drug addiction, and he is very open about his addiction, that he overcame a crack addiction and became a very inspirational person in people in that community, and we have to respect that man for being so open about that. So hey, if it's in your heart right now to spread some love and buy some quality products this close to Christmas, go out there and do that. MyPillow.com, MyStore.com, promo code RSPN at checkout, and get 66% off, up to 66% off your entire order. This place is electric right now. I got to tell you, we have been to a lot of Trump rallies, but my cameraman would probably agree with me that this has a lot of energy right now. It feels like it's about to explode with enthusiasm for this candidate. We got the music pumping. We got the bus probably moments away from pulling in to the fairgrounds here. Matter of fact, I think I see some lights. Let me see. Yes, the bus is pulling in. If we can get a shot of that, I'm not sure if you got a good look at that or it's not. And by the reaction of the crowd, they can see the bus pulling in behind the stage here. Glenn Youngkin has entered the fairgrounds here. And by the reaction of the crowd, that is a good thing. That is welcomed. So if you're just now joining us, now is the time to share this broadcast. Let's get it out to as many people as possible. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let them all know that if you live in the Commonwealth of Virginia, your next governor just pulled up and he is ready to take the stage on a chilly night in Northern Virginia. Also, remind everybody to follow us on all of our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can follow me personally at Brian Glenn TV as well, across the board. Look for there. I'll try to give you as much as I can behind the scenes look. Tomorrow, we'll be out through D.C. during the day. We'll be at the Youngkin campaign headquarters. For election night, we'll have some behind the scenes stuff there as well. You can see them. Let's see if we can get a shot of him coming out of that bus. I think we pretty much can get that. Good shot there, Gage. That's about as tight as we can get from this throw from where we're at. Perhaps we can find that name on that bus too, Gage. It's up at the top. It says, "We love you, right side." But we'll check for that after the broadcast. But I signed our name on top of that bus, like thousands of people have done the same thing. There we go, a little bit of some people. Looks like they're having a good time in the bus. I can imagine if they probably had, I don't know, they've been driving around, flying around the state, having a great time. And that's what it's all about, meeting the people, being positive. People want positive. They don't want to know that there's a dark winter ahead. They don't want to know of that. And you know, you got a lot of people in politics that are painting this doom and gloom of our world, and what is, you know, it's going to be a dark winter. It's going to be this and that, and you're going to be restricted for Thanksgiving. Don't even think about that yet, and don't even think about Christmas. People don't want to see that. They want positivity. They want hope. They want real hope and change, and that's what Glenn Youngkin provides to all of us here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, is hope and change, real hope and change. All right, let's see what happens here. He might be, I'd like to talk to one of the people to find exactly, see comparable what tonight looks like versus other nights on this campaign. Let me see, the door has opened. Waves to the crowd. Let's see exactly at this point. I have a feeling when this song concludes, you'll get an introduction and he will walk out. That's just being a betting man right now. Let's see if that happens. Let's see. Here we go.
Your next governor, Glenn Youngkin!
Are you ready to win tomorrow? Come on, Loudoun County, I can't hear you. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, here we are right now together. We're together right now, standing up, not as Republicans, not as Democrats, but as Virginians, and we're taking back it. We're here together tonight because there's a moment right now, and we can feel the spirit in the sky right now. It's the spirit of Washington and Jefferson and Madison and Monroe, Patrick Henry, right here. That spirit in the sky is telling us that this is a moment, a defining moment for the future of our Commonwealth, a defining moment where we get to stand up and say no to this left, liberal, progressive agenda that's trying to take us over. No. We have a moment where we as Virginians, we get to stand up and we get to tomorrow decide the future of our Commonwealth, a future that we know where we can celebrate the relentless pursuit of a better life, the relentless pursuit of prosperity, where we don't have self-centered politicians stand between us and our dreams, where they're more interested in their future than yours. This is our moment where we recognize this culture that keeps telling our children they have to shelve their hopes, shelve their dreams. When they're told that mediocrity and low expectations are okay, we will not be a commonwealth of low expectations. We will be a commonwealth of high expectations. Friends, this is our moment where we stand up for our children, for our grandchildren, for our nieces, for our nephews, for our neighbors, and we decide that we, in fact, are going to be in charge of our children's education. We know that in order to do this, we have to break the power out of Richmond. We have to have a moment where power shifts away from the marble halls in Richmond and it moves to the kitchen tables around Virginia. Kitchen tables that are bound together by freedom and liberty. But these kitchen tables, sometimes that discussion happens over breakfast after a midnight shift, where we're talking about those issues that are most important to us. Those issues that are going to define the future of this Commonwealth. Those issues that we as Virginians share as values. From the farms in the Shenandoah to the docks in Newport News, to literally to the monuments in Arlington Cemetery, to the banks of the James River, to the school board meetings in Loudoun County. This is where parents are. This is where Virginians are, where we come together to redefine this future. Folks, this stopped being a campaign a long time ago, and it started being a movement led by all of you, led by you. And as we head to the polls tomorrow, we have to remind ourselves that this Virginia that we know we can build together, this Virginia that is the promise that we have held out for our children and our grandchildren, this promise of Virginia where we can in fact see our kids dream the biggest dreams they can think of and go get them. This Virginia where our parents and our grandparents go for a walk and the only thing they worry about is what they're going to do tomorrow because today was so great. This Virginia where our children can be college ready or career ready. This Virginia where in fact you have more of your money in your pocket versus in Terry McAuliffe's pocket. This is the Virginia promise that we can build together, but that promise hangs in the balance. It hangs in the balance because tomorrow we must go get it. It will not be given to us. This democracy is not a spectator sport. It is an active involvement. We must go get it. We must go get it. And so we find ourselves tonight thinking about what can happen tomorrow. And what can happen tomorrow will be a statement that will be heard across this country, because America needs us to vote tomorrow as well. America's watching. Why? Why? Because all across this country, families are having the same discussions that you all have. I get notes all day long. Glenn, stand up for our kids too. Stand up for the rights of our children, because we can't vote this year. You in Virginia do. We have problems in our school boards. We have problems in our schools. Stand up for us, Virginia. Well, let me tell you, Virginia is going to stand up for them tomorrow. That's what we're going to do. USA, 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 USA. Friends, do you know what's at stake? We do. The future of this Commonwealth, the future of this country is going to be decided tomorrow. Our nation's history is our Commonwealth's history. And our nation's future is going to be determined by the present. How we vote tomorrow will make such a statement for families around this great country to have hope, to recognize that, yes, the values that we hold dear, the values that underpin this country are still alive and well, and we can put them into action tomorrow. So here we go. Here we go tomorrow, folks. What we need to do tomorrow is show up and vote. We need to show up and vote, because nothing happens unless we fully engage. And then when we fully engage, let me tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. We are going to sweep our statewide offices tomorrow. Sweep them. And we are going to elect Jason Miyares as our next Attorney General. And let me tell you, if Attorney General Mark Herring won't investigate the Loudoun County School Board, Jason Miyares will. And we are going to elect Winsome Sears, our next Lieutenant Governor. And we are going to sweep into office a brand new majority in our House of Delegates. But we're also going to win local offices all over Virginia. Board of Supervisors, city councils, treasurer's office, sheriff races, and school board races all over Virginia. It will not be a lonely day tomorrow. We are going to usher in an entire crop of Republican leaders across this great Commonwealth. And this will be a statement. It'll be a statement for the future of Virginia. Now, friends, I get asked all the time, Glenn, how are you sleeping? And I say, thank you for worrying about my health. I'm sleeping fine. I'm sleeping like a baby. I wake up every 20 minutes screaming. What am I worried about? I'm worried about the future of this Commonwealth. I'm worried about the future of our children. I'm worried about taxes being too high. I'm worried the communities aren't safe. I'm worried that the job market's stalled out. I'm worried that you're going to get fired for not taking a vaccine and not be able to collect unemployment. Friends, this is a moment where tomorrow we're going to see such clear distinctions on the ballot. On one side is Terry McAuliffe. And Terry McAuliffe, we know he wants to put government between parents and our children. Terry McAuliffe wants to force everybody to join the union. Terry McAuliffe wants you to get fired by your employer for not taking the vaccine. Terry McAuliffe wants to raise your taxes in the middle of the night because he thinks it's his money. I know it's yours. And Terry McAuliffe thinks that these rights are not absolute. Well, let me tell you, these rights in our Bill of Rights are absolute. Friends, on the other side of the ballot is freedom and liberty, and I'm standing for freedom and liberty. Because what's on this side of the ballot, it may say Jason Miyares, it may say Winsome Sears, it may say Glenn Youngkin, but who's really on the ballot is all of you. Virginia's on the ballot. And let me tell you, Terry McAuliffe on one side versus Virginia on the other side, Virginia wins every day of the week. And when we win, on January 15th, we're going to work. And let me tell you what's going to happen on January 15th. It's going to be a special day because Jason Miyares and Winsome Sears and I get to stand under Mr. Jefferson's portico in Richmond. And we put our hand on a holy Bible and we will swear to God Almighty that we're going to protect the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of this great Commonwealth of Virginia. And then we're going to walk down those steps. We're going to stop for a minute. We're going to stop for a minute, and Paige is going to join Jason, and Terrence is going to join Winsome, and Suzanne's going to join me. And I don't begin to presuppose where anybody is in their own faith walk, but anybody else who wants to join us, we're going to stop for a moment of prayer, folks. And we're going to thank the Lord for blessing us, for watching over us, for protecting us, for guiding us, for showing us a path to walk and giving us the strength to walk it. And then we're going to ask him to continue to watch over us and strengthen us and guide us so we can go do the work that he would have us do. Not in our words, but his words, not for our glory, but for his. And then we're saying amen, and we're going to work. And on that first day, we are going to cut the cost of living in Virginia because it is too expensive to live here. We're going to cut everybody's taxes. I mean, we know this. We know this. It's got to be too expensive to live in Virginia. The cost of living's going through the roof. And meanwhile, in Richmond, they overtaxed us by $2.6 billion last year. They're going to do it again this year. I know that's your money. Terry McAuliffe thinks it's his money. We're going to cut taxes. So on day one, we're going to declare the largest tax rebate in the history of Virginia. We're going to eliminate the grocery tax. We're going to suspend the most recent increase in the gas tax. We're going to double everybody's standard deduction. And we are going to go to work for our veterans to say, thank you. We want you to live here. We all know this. Our communities are so much better when our veterans live among us. 1 out of 11 Virginians is a veteran. They understand that freedom is not free, and they've been willing to fight for our freedom. We're going to say thank you. So we're going to build up to $40,000 over 3 years of their retirement benefits that we're going to exclude from taxes altogether. Veterans, we want you to stay here. Altogether. It totals about $1,400, almost $1,500 of tax savings in year one. My opponent, he's got hundreds of pages of policy. It's going to cost $16 billion, $5,400 for every Virginia family. He thinks it's his money. I know it's your money. I'm giving it back to you so you can spend it like you want. On day one, we're going to work to reestablish expectations of excellence in our schools. While Terry McAuliffe was governor, 88 schools in Virginia failed to reach their accreditation. What does he do? Instead of fixing them and doing the hard work, he reduces standards and not one fails. Not one. Today, Virginia ranks 50th in the nation in standards to progress in reading and math. 50th. The test scores show it. The test scores show it. George Bush called it the soft bigotry of low expectations. We will not be a commonwealth of low expectations. We'll be a commonwealth of high expectations. The test scores that came out this past spring showed it. 55% of white children in Virginia can't pass an 8th grade math equivalency test. 70% of Latino children, 80% of black children in Virginia can't pass an 8th grade math equivalency test. Folks, that gap is wholly unacceptable. The order of magnitude of these numbers is shocking. It is shocking. So we must go to work for our children. They can't wait. They can't wait. So on day one, we will declare that Virginia schools never will be closed again to 5 days a week in-person education. But we are going to raise expectations in our schools and then fund in a record education budget, raising teacher salaries, funding into facilities, funding special education. Virginia's kids with disabilities have suffered mightily during this pandemic. They deserve extra investment too. But then we're going to press forward with the most aggressive charter school program the Commonwealth has ever seen. We will provide choice in our public schools. Virginia has 8 charter schools in the entire Commonwealth. Maryland has 140. North Carolina has 190. We have 8. On day one, we're going to launch 20 innovation charter schools. That is a down payment to close that gap over 4 years. We will have choice in our public school system. But friends, we know it all starts with curriculum. And so let me be really clear. We will teach accelerated math. We will award advanced diplomas. We will teach all history, the good and the bad. America is the greatest country on the planet, and we know it. We have an amazing history, but we also have some dark and abhorrent chapters. We must teach them all. We can't know where we're going unless we know where we have come from. But let me be clear, what we won't do is teach our children to view everything through a lens of race, where we divide them into buckets and one group's an oppressor and one other group's a victim, and we pit them against each other and we steal their dreams. We will not be a commonwealth of dream stealers. We will be a commonwealth of dream enablers and builders. And we know it's not right. We're all created equal. And we're trying so hard to live up to those immortal words of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who implored us to be better than we are, to judge one another based on the content of our character and not the color of our skin. And so let me be clear. Let me be clear. On day one, we will not have political agendas in the classroom, and I will ban critical race theory. On day one, we're standing up for law enforcement because they stand up for us. And let me tell you, Loudoun County, you have one of the most amazing sheriff's departments you can possibly believe. Thank you, Sheriff Mike Chapman. Thank you. Virginia's at a 20-year high in murder rate. 4 of our great cities are ranked in the top 65 deadliest cities in America, with Richmond at number 11, racing to number 1. Norfolk, Hampton, Newport News. My opponent doesn't care. When he was governor, the murder rate went up 43%. The rate went up every year. He wouldn't even meet with the Police Benevolent Association. He stood them up. They represent 7,000 heroes who put a bulletproof vest on every day to go to work. Friends, this man doesn't understand what it means to serve law enforcement. This is why 50 sheriffs have endorsed us. 4 have switched parties. We've been endorsed by the Fraternal Order of Police, the Police Benevolent Association. Because we know on day one we've got to go to work, so we're going to comprehensively fund law enforcement, higher salaries, equipment budgets, training budgets. We're going to protect qualified immunity. We're going to fund into our mental health system. It is broken for 8 years. We need more facility capacity, more professionals. And let me be clear, on day one, I will fire the entire parole board, and we're starting all over again. On day one, we have got to get this Virginia economy moving again. It's been stalled out for 8 years. The states around us have been kicking our butt. Maryland, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia. For 8 years, they've been growing 70% faster than Virginia. North Carolina generated 8 times the job over the last 8 years that Virginia has. Tennessee, 6 times. 4 big plants just got announced by Ford Motor Company. Where'd they go? 2 to Kentucky, 1 to Tennessee, 1 to Georgia, none in Virginia. We have been losing, and I am tired of losing to Maryland particularly. We have got to get moving. By the way, folks, my opponent doesn't understand any of this. 32 of his 79 economic development deals generated 0 jobs. 0. He announces 14,000 jobs, 7,000 show up. In the world I came from, if that's your record, not only do you not get rehired as CEO, you get fired as CEO. This is what he deserves. So we got to go to work on day one, so let me be clear. We are going to announce that Virginia is open for business. No lockdowns, no shutdowns. We're open for business. We are going to protect our right to work. We're not going to force everybody to join the union. Terry McAuliffe looked at a camera and he said, I'll sign that bill and get rid of right to work when it comes to my desk. And then the unions piled money, millions of dollars into his campaign. Friends, he is bought and paid for. Well, let me tell you, I am not. I'm going to do the right thing, and we're going to protect our right to work in Virginia. But we got to get moving. We got to start growing again. So on day one, we're cutting 25% of job-killing regulations. The Virginia Code is 37,000 pages long. Try printing that out on your home computer. We're gonna provide small business a 12-month tax holiday so you can keep your profits and invest in growth and employment. And friends, we're getting Virginia back to work. We're going back to work. Job training programs so you can either go to college or have a career. We have to have multiple pathways for our college kids. Not everybody has to incur $50,000 to $70,000 of debt when there's great jobs to be had. But we have to teach Virginia how to be entrepreneurs again. We're ranked 49th in the nation as best place to start a business. Only Connecticut is worse. I have been to Connecticut. We do not want to be Connecticut. So we have to have incubators and accelerators and capital formation. We have to cut the regulations to start a business so it's easier to get going. Friends, we have to get this economy growing again. And together we can do this. But let me be clear. Governors do not create jobs. Businesses and people do. So my job is to partner with you, and we have a plan to generate 400,000 new jobs and foster 10,000 new startups. We're going to get Virginia moving, get everybody back to work, and it's going to lift up everybody. Everybody. And finally, on day one, and yes, it's going to be a busy day. But you know what? We got a day 2 and a day 3 and a day 4 coming. But on day 1, we are going to make this Virginia government work for us and stop telling us what to do all the time. It all starts with our constitutional rights. We know that. They've been trampled on over the last few years mightily. When this governor opened up ABC stores and kept my church closed, I knew he didn't understand our First Amendment right. When this governor allowed the FBI to come into this state and try to silence parents standing up for their own children, I know he doesn't understand our Constitution. When Terry McAuliffe wants to take guns away from law-abiding citizens and make it easier for hardened criminals to get them, he doesn't understand our Second Amendment. And let me tell you, Jason Miyares and Winsome Sears and I, we understand our 10th Amendment, and we are going to push back against Washington overreach and go to work for all of you. But I have to tell you, I have a pet peeve. I cannot stand inefficiency and waste. And here I am going into government. On day 1, we're going to launch a government-wide audit of every department, rooting out fraud, rooting out waste, raising transparency. And the 2 places we're starting first are the Virginia Employment Commission and the Department of Motor Vehicles. Now, Here's how you're going to know we're being successful. Because down the road, you're going to call into the DMV and two things are going to happen. Number one, they're going to answer the phone. And number two, they're going to say, "Hi, how may I help you?" Government for the people, of the people, by the people. This is what we're supposed to have. Not government that tells us what to do all the time. Friends, this is the Virginia that we can build together. This is the Virginia promise. This is why we're here. I mean, Virginia is the greatest state in America. We just haven't been allowed to behave like it. And so together, we will build this. Starting tomorrow, this Virginia promise will come alive. Starting tomorrow, we can make this statement that, yes, will be heard around the country, but will be heard right here in Loudoun County, right here in our schools, right here in our families. We, in fact, get to redefine our future. I can't do it by myself, though, and neither can Jason and neither can Winsome. We got to do it with all of you. Together, we can make this happen. Together, we can change the future. Together, we can do anything because we are Virginians, and this is what we do. So tomorrow, friends, I got to ask you two things. Two things. First, go vote. Go vote. But I need you to bring 10 friends. 10 friends that are not here. And 10 friends that will vote the right way. Leave the other guys at home. And let me tell you what's going to happen when you do that. We are going to win Loudoun County tomorrow. How amazing is that going to be? Wake up, Virginia. Here we come, because we're going to win this tomorrow. Second thing I'd ask you to do is, if you have a prayer list, put us on it. Paige and Jason and their girls, and Terrence and Winsome and their family, and Suzanne and me and our kids, Grant, Ann, and John, and Thomas. Friends, this is a moment for us to get all the help, and we need it, so thank you. Let me tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to go to the polls. Tomorrow, we're going to watch Virginians make a statement. Tomorrow, we are going to sit there at 7 o'clock tomorrow night, and we're going to start watching the results come in. And I'll tell you, that early on, we might be a little behind because some of the early votes that'll get counted. And then we're going to watch us roar through this. And let me tell you what it's going to look like. It's going to look like Terry McAuliffe is going 45 miles an hour down Route 66 and coming up 70 on the outside. We are coming up. And we are going to win this. And let me tell you, I know I speak on behalf of Jason, Winston. Why don't you guys come up here? Come on up here. It's a little slippery. Come on down into the middle. Come on down into the middle. I want to tell you how honored and proud I am to run with these two. We have been running as a team. We've been running together. We started out this entire campaign praying together. That's the way we started. And I will tell you, what's happened over the course of the last many months has been amazing. And I just tell you, on that day, on January 15th, and I know I speak for them, we are going to be absolutely consumed with a sense of honor. We're going to overflow with a sense of humility to be able to go work for all of you. We've been saying it all along. Hire us to go work for you. This is the team, plus every delegate, plus every senator, plus every sheriff and school board member and supervisory board member and city council member. We're going to go work for you. But I'll tell you right now, on that day, we are going to feel so honored. And I tell you personally, I mean, here I am. I'm a kid that was washing dishes and taking out trash in the beach when I was 15 years old. And I'm running to actually fill an office that was held by Patrick Henry and Thomas Jefferson. And here I am, this guy getting a chance to do this. And I want to thank you for considering hiring me. But I'll tell you, on that day, I'm going to be overwhelmed with this sense of opportunity, overwhelmed with this sense of privilege to go work for all of you as the 74th governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. God bless you all. Let's go win this. Let's win it.
up the remarks from Glenn Youngkin, kind of laying out the game plan that he promised on his website from day one, attacking and really attacking, taking on the economy here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, creating jobs, saying that Virginia is now open for business, also taking care of the schools, getting involved in the education of our kids and taking control of that. And also just making it more affordable to live in Virginia. And that is what's on the minds of real life citizens here, not the political elites, not the social elites, but the average everyday Americans here in Virginia. He's talking to them. He's speaking their language about doing what's right and what's best for them. We'll be out there tomorrow at the Youngkin campaign headquarters there, and we'll bring you live. I like that look away pass he just did. We'll bring you all live coverage of election night here in Virginia. We want to remind everybody, go support our partner, Mike Lindell, MyPillow.com, MyPillow.com, promo code RSBN, and save up to 66% off your entire order. He is a proud American. He fights for election integrity, and he fights for the rights of all of us here, fighting for freedom and liberty, and he's been really on the forefront of all that. So go support him as well at MyPillow.com, and go to MyStore.com as well. Put that promo code RSBN and get up to 66% off your entire order. I want to remind everybody as well, go to our website, rsbnetwork.com/donate. We are viewer-funded network. We've got great partners like Mike Lindell, but we also got partners like you. So go to rsbnetwork.com/donate and put a little something in that tip jar for us and help us get across this great country covering stories like we have tonight. I would probably say we had about 2,500 people here. I would probably say a little bit in the overflow area behind us. And he is known to really staying and taking a picture and signing autographs with just about every person that is here when it's over. I'm not sure. He's got a lot of people to sign. I'm sure he wants to get a good night's sleep and get ready for tomorrow. But what an amazing speech, and very similar topics that he talked about last time. It's all about prosperity and pushing the economy forward, pushing our education forward, and standing up for faith and what's right. He said from day one, they're going to start with a prayer and then go in there and get to business. So he has really laid out there. I want to encourage everybody as well to go follow us on all of our social media platforms. We have a lot of events coming up, and there's one way you can follow all of that, and that is on our Facebook page, that is on our Instagram page and our Twitter. And of course, subscribe to our Rumble channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and stay up to date for what we're doing here at Right Side. Go download our app as well on your Android and your Apple Store. Reminder, tomorrow, we've got the election night here in Virginia, and then on Wednesday, November 3rd, we're out in Arizona for a Kerry Lake event, an election integrity event at the Dream Center Church there in Glendale, Arizona. Please join us for that. Go to all of our social media platforms for more information about that. I'll step aside and leave you. Until next time, goodbye. God bless. From the great state of Virginia, we'll see you back here tomorrow night for election night in America. Good night, everybody.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow, towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. This is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work.
The new MyPillow towels are exclusively made with 100% USA combed cotton with proprietary technology and with maximum absorbency. They dry you faster and are guaranteed to work.
I'm interrupting this commercial right now. Retailers have canceled MyPillow. And to thank you for all your support, I'm going to pass the savings directly on to you. Go to MyPillow.com to get deep discounts on all MyPillow products. For example, you get my dog beds for as low as $19.99. Or for a limited time, you can get my 6-piece towel sets, regularly $109.99, now only $39.99. The lowest price ever with your promo.